to help him live a more independent life. Help heroes like Jesse Clark. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. It is Friday. Thank God it is Friday. I get the nod from Jeray. He's ready to go. Looks like Freddie Freeman's back on the Braves team. The reason I say that is because he's rocking a Braves jersey this morning. The Braves open up at home, yes. The team that makes me drink. The team that has started 0-7. I still love, because I loved them, Carlos Medina, when they were awful in the 80s. And I would sit and watch TBS or listen to the Braves radio network every night and never missed a game, knowing that they're going to get their heads bashed in. It did not matter to me because I'm a Braves fan through and through, sir.
Well, oddly, they've given you an 0-7 start to the season, which means you're going to be digging out of this thing for the next month.
Yep.
And it's going to start with home opener today against the Miami Marlins. You're going to get a 3-game series. This really screams
sweep.
All right, let's see what happens from here. I mean, you got off the West Coast. You're not playing the best teams in the National League any longer. Let's see if they can go ahead and start turning this thing around a little bit.
Yes, they will.
I believe so, too. Yeah. It's so early in the year.
Oh, my gosh, yes. But they do make me drink. I'm not kidding. You know, it's when I see them start 0-7, I had to have me a whiskey drink last night just to ease my nerves about going into the home opener.
Mine's been a little bit different. I've been packing up and moving and everything else, and
your focus has been off of it.
That has made me be one of those guys that goes, I know I don't need one, but I'm going to need one.
Right. I'm just drinking it now because I like it. That's what it was.
It's like normally it's for entertainment purposes. Yeah. In this case, it's therapeutic purposes. I'm like, oh my God, another box.
I know, right? Yeah. So, and next Monday and Tuesday, you're out while you're physically signing the paperwork and moving into a new home. And I know it's stressful. I know it's one of the most stressful things. And
the movers show up tomorrow, and I'm just looking around the house going, "Why? Like, what do I have to do from this moment?" In fact, yesterday was take all the TVs off the walls, and I still have 2 more I've got to get off the walls.
Goodness! So did you just watch everything on your phone or your iPad?
Like I said, there's 2 that are left. It's the living room TV where the kids were watching everything last night. So I was like, all right, that can wait till Friday.
Yeah.
And the same thing in the basement. I'm like, both those TVs are the only ones that are still up and operational in the house.
So I know what your weekend looks like.
Yeah, moving. Yeah, it's awesome.
My weekend. This is the first weekend in a month. I'm not going to South Carolina, so it's just me try to keep up with the games from home, and it's a needed weekend to just not travel. But I know it's not far. It's like 4 hours, right? 4 hours over. We get up early Saturday morning, drive over 4 hours, watch the doubleheader, go to dinner with our son at night, and then next morning get up early and drive back. So just not having to do that will be a welcomed. Just relaxing.
Well, I have an idea what you can do.
Well, we're going to watch Roadhouse. I know that.
I'm so excited. Of all things, you have a Roadhouse weekend.
That's right, because my wife has never seen it. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, that she had never seen it. And so that's what. But did you have anything to add, like something good that you should add?
No, I mean, I was just thinking maybe you bring your truck over here and just start moving boxes. But no, I would say the Roadhouse weekend's probably a better call.
No, yeah, I'm happy to come over.
No, there's no way,
you, buddy. I'm happy to do it.
So yesterday, I've had a kegerator for about 10 years. Yesterday was the day that I had made the point.
Drop dead day, huh?
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm going to get this out of the house, and I'm going to have my wife help me. She gets a phone call out of nowhere. It's a meeting that comes up.
Convenient.
And so I end up doing that by myself. Now, I don't feel like I'm hurting over that one. I had to basically lift the keg on its own and get the kegerator over to the scrap metal area over here in Forsyth County. But if at any point that if I ever needed the massage chair, it's today after trying to get the kegerator day and get it out of the house. And
a little peek behind the Wizard of Oz curtain, Los, because he'll be filling in for Matt Chernoff this afternoon on our sister station, The Fan. 680 and 93.7 FM, along with Chuck Oliver of Braves Radio Network, leading into that Braves coverage. Los is home this morning, so he does not have the luxury of the massage chair.
It's bad.
It is awful. I did stretch this morning, by the way.
We're going to be doing the show, from Park Bench over there in the Battery.
I love that place.
A really cool spot. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I've got to make it a point to get into the station early to get into the massage chair to then walk my way down to Park Bench.
Do you plan to? And probably not, because I know with the movie and all that. Are you going to try to use your special badge and go catch an inning?
No. I'm going to go straight home and just keep working on this stuff. Yeah.
I figured that was the case, but I just wasn't sure. Because
you've got one. You're above the law. You can do whatever you want.
Dude, I'm just going to go kick the door in.
That's right.
I'm going to ask the ushers to get out of my way. That's what I'm going to do. You know me, Mr. Aggressive.
You make it a point. You're like, I'm going to go eat in the Lexus Lounge. I'm going to go run around and do whatever I feel like. Yeah, no, you're big Tug above the law now. Right. You got your credential.
That's right, man. I am a bad man. A bad man. And like I said, Jure looks like Freddie Freeman because he's rocking his Freddie jersey. Or is that a Freddie jersey?
Ozzy.
It's an Ozzy jersey. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably my favorite.
Ozzy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
my favorite current player on the team.
Me too. Ozzy's all. You know why I love that guy so much? Not only because he's a great player. That's the obvious. But just because he's been told no his whole life. No, you're too small. No, you can't do this. Nope. You're not.
And nobody looks like they're having more fun on the field than Ozzy Albies.
That's right.
Yeah, that is true. Ozzy's always, he's a catalyst. Yeah.
Like, if there was one, I don't want to be friends with the Braves necessarily, but if there would be one dude that would be cool to be friends with, it'd be him, just because he does seem so easygoing and just smiling all the time. He'd be the kind of friend you'd want to hang out with, the kind of person you'd want to hang out with. So I'm looking forward to getting over there and seeing what this thing's all about. See if the Braves can turn it around. 404-741-1230 if you think we are insane and there's not a chance they're turning it around and the season's over and we should set the building on fire.
You just finished playing the World Series champions and the team that eliminated you in the National League playoffs.
Yeah.
0-7. Yeah, granted, I would love to be 2-5.
Yeah, sure.
This is just not what it is right now.
It is not, but do we get it back on track? I believe probably so. Now, there are some people that that are screaming. I don't know if you've seen social media at all. There are those Braves fans who are like, "That's all fire. Fire Snitker. Get rid of Alex Anthopoulos. Move the Braves back to downtown Atlanta." Just all the...
Ew.
Yeah, exactly. Just all the crazies around.
I wasn't bothered by the first few things you said.
It's that last one.
I was like, you've gone too far.
That is a lot. We'll have none of those days putting us back down there. Absolutely not. No, but, so when things happen, people react differently. You and I and Dre, we try to be measured with most everything that happens in life. But liberals don't feel that way. They're emotional people, and Los has been very good about pointing this out. They don't make decisions based on reason or logic or fact most of the time. It is just pure emotion. And I ran across this, and I thought it was a Braves fan at first, but it turns out it's just a liberal that hates Donald Trump. And in his car, I could see the fact that his tonsils were inflamed. That's how loud this man was screaming. The whole back of his throat is just red. Listen to this. This is crazy. That's a dude.
It's okay. Everything's okay.
That's like I said, I wasn't sure if it was a Braves fan at first. It turns out it wasn't. It's just a dude that hates Trump. And he just screamed and screamed and screamed. And Dre saved you because it was much longer. And he just went on and on and on. And then he was talking himself out of it at the end. It's okay. It's going to be okay.
Baby needs a nap.
Dude, something. These people are nuts, Los.
I will never understand that level of frustration and anger that
Over
we are
anything.
as we're now, as we joked around about it, we're 60 days. It's going to be a long 4 years.
Buddy, that dude's not going to make it.
No.
He's not going to make it. That dude is not going to make it, man.
Like, I'm trying to think of what makes me ever think about screaming like that.
I can't think of one thing in the world.
I can't think of one thing that's going on where I go, oh, man, it would be so frustrating I would scream like that.
That make me howl like a child? No. Yeah, there's just nothing. There's nothing that will put me in that sort of spirit. And I think about, as you sit back and you see this, and I wonder if my sweet Aunt Peg, who's the nicest woman in the world, give you the shirt off her back, politics, the swim. She is a wonderful lady, except when it comes to politics. And then she doesn't turn into that necessarily, but she does turn into a different person when you talk about politics. She's
her own version of that.
Yes, but and it's mild. It's more muted than that. She doesn't scream and holler. But I remember I told you yesterday or the day before. Like one time she had gone over on a trip with us to South Carolina, and we were sitting at this really nice little restaurant in Charleston, and she started with the Dictator from Day One stuff, and I was just like,
oh of course, yes.
And I just had to excuse myself and I was like, I'll be right. I've got to go to the bathroom, and I didn't, so I just went up to the bar, and the bar was within range. You could see that I was not going to the bathroom. I was trying to make it clear you're a dumbass, and I don't want to call you a dumbass. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like that, but more subdued. It's still very emotional. She cannot reason. She cannot think because she has Trump derangement syndrome, which, some scientists are saying now that it's actually a thing. Like we've always said it, but I didn't realize it was like a medical condition.
No, it is. I mean, you're talking about an altering of the brain. You're talking about a chemical change that has gone on. You can go and look at some of this data, and you will see that these people, the wild part about it is they get a momentary release by doing this. Like they feel better about themselves. They feel better about their lives. They feel better about whatever the current situation is. What they don't recognize is that the more they take part in this, it is killing them.
Yeah. And I'm just going to do a quick Google search. Does screaming in anger make you feel better? And the physical act of screaming may trigger a release of feel-good chemicals in the body, which might help create a sense of relief and potentially lead to lower stress and anxiety. That's according to the folks at calm.com. And I think they have like an app that you can listen to, and it gives you the green noise and the orange noise and the yellow noise. You know what I mean? When you're trying to... They say those noises will help you relax. I've never found that to be true. I've tried it before, and I've never run across. But I'm,
do you not have something you're able to do? Like I know that like my oldest daughter has like her YouTube channels that she throws in, and they're like the relaxation ones, and
I don't. I need to find them.
We had a friend of ours, and we actually shared a hotel room with them one time when we were all traveling, going to go watch Georgia football. And she did have white noise. Like, that was part of what she needed to sleep. Now, whether she had it or not, it didn't bother me. I was going to go to bed without a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there is that whole idea of what do you listen to in order to relax you?
Yeah, I've tried some of that stuff for it, and it's never really helped me. But I will say white noise does. We have a powder room half bath just adjacent to our master bedroom. Is on the main, and I'll flip on the fan, the little vent fan, because it's just loud enough so I hear that white noise, and it's very steady.
This is a different version of white noise.
No, that's not white noise. That's Jeray. It's too early. That's not white noise. I don't know what that is. That's terrible noise.
I've got a whole compilation of leftists freaking out. That's what I go to bed with.
I could. Los sounds like he's joking. I could see him just scrolling through, just giggling.
Yes, I could too. No, but I'll flip on that little fan and I go. But see, my sweet wife Laura, she cannot. Any noise, she wants it dead silent, no noise whatsoever. The white noise with the fan drives her up the wall. Like it would make her scream like that fella right there just screamed. You know? It screamed like that, man. She'd be like, Jerry, please turn it off. Please, dear God, turn it off. I can hear it now. You know, she's like, please, just make it go away. Just make it stop.
That dude has had 2 months, and that's what he's doing.
And he is in rough shape. I have got a podcast. We're talking about what we're going to do this weekend. I've got a podcast that I want to watch, and that is the new Theo Vaughn podcast this weekend with Morgan Wallen. It came out, I think, yesterday, and Theo had asked him if he was going to had gone to a bar, and he was like, no, I need to stay out of bars. The last bar I went to made me his people are still talking about, and that's the one where he threw the chair off of the top of Eric Church, his best friend's bar in Nashville, and I don't know what set him off or made him do that, but apparently he opens up a little bit to Theo about just struggling with fame. You know, the fact that everybody wants to be around you all the time. There's not really a privacy part of it. And I know that's real. Kenny Chesney, we had him in the studio back at the 101.5 days in the morning, and he was there, and he said, I can't go to a Walmart. I've not been to a Walmart in 10 years. He was like, if I just need to go into Walmart and buy a ball cap or, hit the super center and buy some snacks for the road, I can't do that. He was like, and not because I care about taking the pictures or signing the autographs. It's because I don't want to ruin the day of the people trying to work in there. He was like, it would just cause a stir. It would create a problem for them. So I don't want to put them in that position. And so I just don't do it. And so I know what he's saying is right. And that's why it's interesting. I look forward to hearing what Morgan Wallen says about his struggle with fame, because I know that is a real thing. And I bet those, from the sports side, I bet there's guys that don't like, they love playing the game that they play, baseball, football, basketball, whatever it is, but don't like the fame part of it.
Well, I would imagine, first off, I know when you get in the mirror every single day, you always say, so famous, so very famous.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah.
Tug Howard, just having to deal with all of this fame.
Yeah.
No, I think it's an interesting character study. Part of the reason why I wanted to go back, and I ended up watching Adam Duritz from Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that the other day.
From 4 years ago.
Yep.
And that guy has now been on a multitude of documentaries where when the record hit and everything blew up in 1993, the only thing he was able to do to make himself feel better was to go to the Viper Room and bartend. So he's got the #1 record in the entirety of the world, Grammy nominations, everything else, and the only thing that made him feel good to deal with his anxiety and some of his problems was to go bartend at a bar.
Good.
That was the plan in order to deal with that stuff. So I love hearing those stories of people having to deal with this stuff.
Me too, because I do believe it's real, man. It's not normal to have people want to be with you every second of every day.
Yep. Totally.
And then the day, let's say you have a bad day. This is what that irritates me about fans. And only because I've seen it. I've seen this happen before. The artist or the ball player, whomever it is, they sign 10,000 autographs, take all the pictures. It's a great day. The next day, they wake up in a bad mood. They had a bad day. Something happened at home. And they don't sign the one autograph, and they become the a-hole. And people are like, well, they were mean to me. They didn't sign the picture. They signed 10,000 the day before and signed 10,000 the day after. The one interaction is the only one that gets attention, and that irritates me. Because it happens. And it happens with regularity. When we continue on Extra 1063, we'll knock out the headlines. 6 o'clock hours brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. I want to talk to you about Callie Means. This is a dude that's working for RFK at HHS. And Callie Means has some things he needs to get off his chest in front of the folks at Politico, their healthcare summit. Man, and those lobbyists were not ready for the truth bomb that Callie Means drops on them. Next on Extra 1063.
Who's going to run your kids? Is it going to be the government, or is it going to be you? Right. And the Democrats want the government, and the conservatives want the parents to do it.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 1063 and the Extra app.
What's the mystery behind Mystery Valley Golf Course? Is it the fact that it's been voted one of Atlanta's must-play courses? Or is it the fact that it's conveniently located from anywhere in Atlanta? Or maybe it's because Mystery Valley has recently renovated the course, adding all new tipped Bermuda putting greens, upgrading all 66 sand bunkers, and improving the clubhouse and amenities all around. No matter what it is, Mystery Valley Golf Club has been a staple of the Atlanta golf community for many years, and it reopened with the new renovations. Now is the perfect opportunity to make a tee time and enjoy a round of golf at Mystery Valley, located next to Stone Mountain in Lithonia, taking all of the beautiful natural scenery while enjoying a fantastic round of golf. Go to MysteryValleyGolfCourse.com to book tee times. But one question will always remain: how did Mystery Valley get its name?
If you're the decision maker at your company, we have great news for you, for your HR department, and for your employees. A new and future-forward way to do health benefits is here from Thatch. Not only do your employees get better health benefits with Thatch, but you save an average of $1,620 per employee per year. That's right. You can save over $1,600 per employee per year. Plus, Thatch reduces the time your HR department spends administering benefits. Businesses all over the country love Thatch's breakthrough approach. Rather than a wasteful one-size-fits-all plan, Thatch empowers your employees by letting them customize their own benefits plans. And you save money and time while providing your employees with better health benefits, which works better for everyone. Book a demo with Thatch and we'll send you a $100 gift card. Visit thatch.ai/radio to book a demo for your gift card. That's THATCH.ai/radio. Thatch.ai/radio.
You need a pre-owned car or truck, but you don't need the headache of searching for one. Spending hours calling dealerships, then spending half the day filling out paperwork.
Come on.
You need the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, this is Tom from the Honest Car Guy. We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly. We guarantee each vehicle we sell will come with a copy of the bill of sale, showing what we paid for it. You pay what we pay, plus a disclosed fee. Guaranteed.
Get an Honest Car Buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House. Now that President Trump has unburdened us from what could have been, our country's finally headed in the right directions. But the Democrats are screaming and yelling and losing their minds. And unfortunately, the bad guys are still here and they want your stuff. Thank you, Joe Biden. And customers are still reporting break-ins and thefts of their hard-earned valuables. Don't wait till it's too late. Get a quality safe from the Safe House. We carry the largest selection of safes in the Southeast. And remember, gun safes are sales tax-free at Atlanta Safe House. So give us a call or go to atlantasafehouse.com.
Spring is here, and it's time to transform your outdoor living space into a beautiful oasis. At Stovall & Company, Wholesale Landscape Supply, we have what you need to make your landscape dreams a reality.
Stovall has been supplying the landscape industry for more than 75 years.
So check us out at StovallInc.com.
Stovall has it all.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your headlines for Friday, April 4th. Today is Sine Die, the last day of the Georgia legislative session. Among the more controversial bills, a religious freedom bill for Georgians, a bill banning DEI practices in schools, a school safety bill, and a bill banning taxpayer dollars being used for sex changes for inmates. Georgia Democrats staged a walkout on Wednesday to avoid voting on the transgender bill. Federal investigators have identified the Alpharetta man arrested in the largest fentanyl bust in state history. Antoine Brown was arrested after police found over 240,000 pills in his vehicle, enough to kill 2.5 million people. Investigators say that amount of the drug points to a direct connection with a major Mexican cartel. The Braves opened their first home series this weekend at the Battery, hosting the Marlins. The Braves are still looking for their first win of the season. The Phillies come to town next week. Today's weather, cloudy in the high 60s this morning. Temperatures rise to the mid-80s this afternoon. A cold front arrives on Sunday, bringing rain and lower temperatures. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne.
There is a movie that my wife and I are going to watch that I've seen that she has not. Legendary movie. And
Poltergeist.
No.
Beetlejuice.
No, she loves Beetlejuice.
Am I getting closer?
No, you're not even in the ballpark.
RoboCop.
No.
Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
The person has died. The main character has died, and there's been a remake of it since he's died.
Is this a Val Kilmer movie?
It is not. You're in the kind of in that right zone of actors.
Is this a Gene Hackman movie?
Nope. It's Roadhouse.
Oh, the original or the remake?
Well, Dre suggests we watch both back to back, but we're going with the original because she's never seen it, and some of our friends who love that movie give her a hard time all the time. But there's a specific reason that we're going to watch it this weekend. So my best man in my wedding was a guy named Jason Perez, dear friend. He texted me out of the blue yesterday.
He's a cooler?
What's that?
A cooler. There's the bouncer and the cooler. Patrick Swayze's a cooler.
Oh, right. You took me, I was going off, and I was like, I thought you were talking about Jason. I was like, what? No, so Jason got out of the Navy, retired from the Navy, and like I said, he was my best man at my wedding. And he sent me a note that said, I was today years old when I learned this.
The inspiration for Roadhouse came from screenwriter David Lee Henry's visit to a small-town bar. The character of Dalton, played by Patrick Swayze, was named after Dalton, Georgia, where the bar was located.
Actually, very cool.
I had heard that. I've heard that years and years because being born and raised in Dalton, it comes up occasionally, right? That somebody, but it's based on, and I'd always heard it. But I'd never had anything that actually said it. So when he sent me this YouTube video about how all the movie came together and some of the characters, whatever, and he was like, I was today years old, because he's gone to Dalton with me a dozen times years ago, but he was like, I was today years old when I found out that Roadhouse was based on a bar in Dalton, Georgia. RFK is making major moves at HHS, and I'm here for it. I think he's a smart man, and I know there's a portion of the country that says he's a quack and a nut and whatever. We can't get worse than what we've had. Even if let's say he is. Let's say I'm completely wrong and they're right, and he's a quack and a nut. Can it get worse than the public health situation that we have in America right now? I contend it can't. And if you look at what happened during COVID, Los, it cannot get worse than that.
No, I don't believe so. I think that ends up being the standard by which you get to rule on all of these and say, all right, is it below or above this bar? And you hope it is above the bar from here on out.
Gosh, I hope so. I do believe that it will be. I want you to hear from Callie Means, who works for RFK at HHS. He was at the Politico Health Summit, and they just couldn't believe. They could not believe that they want to cut. They want to cut people from HHS. Well, what about research?
It's not fair.
Definitely, there's an air of this is not fair. Listen.
It's a nonstop infomercial for pharma. It's a Sky Rizzi commercial followed by Scott Gottlieb saying how Bobby's killing people, followed by a breathless coverage of the measles outbreak and no mention of the mental health crisis.
How does cutting a bunch of HHS solve that problem?
It is insane. It is insane for you to insinuate that the thing standing between us and better health is more government bureaucrats.
That's not what I'm insinuating.
That is what everyone's saying. It is absolutely insane to insinuate that it's some crime.
It's not all bureaucrats. It's a lot of scientists. It's researchers. It's people who are making sure that
those scientists fundamentally have overseen, just demonstrably, a record of utter failure. It would be insane. Is that funny? Not true. Is that not true? So what metrics would you guys point to for how the scientific community, how the 4 times more per capita on healthcare spending that we spend in America versus other countries has produced innovation? Has there been one single chronic disease medication in modern American history that has lowered rates of the chronic disease? It is appropriate that the American Academy of Pediatrics right now, which is 90% funded by pharma, is pushing Ozempic on 6-year-olds.
Kelly,
that is what the medical authorities are doing.
Why not then use the power that you guys have to push the existing infrastructure in that direction instead of slashing it altogether?
It's not slashing. It's taking it back to 2017 levels. That's not slashing.
It goes on that this conversation, that's just a minute 15 of it, went on for 6 to 8 minutes, and the Politico people were trying to convince him that government is the right answer. More government, more people, more and she says, well, you're getting rid of the researchers too. We're cleaning house. It cannot get worse than it already is. How does slashing jobs and getting rid of it and going back to, like he said, 2017 levels of employment, how is that a bad thing? Because they have failed completely.
Callie Means, and by the way, his sister's a surgeon, all right? Like, she was one of the people that got red-pilled when she recognized, here's what's wrong with the entire medical industry, where everything is about for profit. And so Callie Means is there to blow it up. Like, he is pointing at these people and saying, I'm not the problem. You are all the problem. Until you overhaul this entire setup, then it's always going to do the same thing. It'll rebuild itself. It'll become more about a bureaucracy, and then it's going to enrich themselves. That's what he's looking to strip away at.
And what changes and how does it get better if we sit on our hands? It doesn't. It doesn't. It's completely failed. And the ACA didn't help. That obviously made it even worse of an issue when Barack Obama put that in place. Everything that he said is exactly right, because he said, if we do what we've been doing, we're going to have sicker people and sicker children. And they went on to talk about, what you didn't hear was the moms and the parents that see the problems that their kids are having, and there's no answer for it except for more bureaucracy and let's fund more.
More government, more money.
Let's spend more. We spend more than anybody else, and we're getting nothing for it. It's the same thing with the tariffs, I feel like, Los. We've already done it their way. We've been doing it their way for 50 years. And more specifically, in the last term of Joe Biden, 4 years. But truly, it's been going on for 50 years, 50 plus years. We've done it their way, and it failed. I'm all for tearing it down to the foundation.
This is why we talk about system disruptors. This is why Cali Means was always going to be detrimental to the medical field. This is why they're fighting back. This is why they're arguing. They never expected, ever did they ever expect that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. would
have a chance
in charge with this much power.
Ever.
And that the means between Callie and his sister would be in a position to tell them, y'all have all done it wrong. We're scaling this thing back. This needs to be more patient-centric, and it needs to be better for the taxpayer. Shocking to them.
It blows their mind, because RFK was on their side. We've got him under our thumb.
Yeah, he'll do what we say.
He can't do anything. We don't want him to do anything. And then Donald Trump comes along again. The great Satan comes back around. And then not only does he get reelected, which is the end of time, the end of democracy. I don't know, how many days are we in? 60, 70 days, whatever the number is.
60-some days.
Democracy is still intact. The country's still intact. Everything's still working. No one has died. That's what they told you, though. If he's elected, all those things are going to happen.
Well, I thought he was going to be a dictator.
It's coming.
Oh,
he's just not there
that's
yet.
eventually going to happen. I just wanted to make sure that I'm here for when the dictatorship starts.
That's right, because I want to be able to be part.
I was wondering when he was going to round people up and send them off to camps.
It's coming. I've seen it on social media a bunch. The people talking about how they're going to be rounded up. And this one dad was crazy. Transgendered man. Identifies as a woman.
Oh, okay.
He said he will leave his children wherever. He will abandon them before he's rounded up. That was his whole diatribe on social media. I watched the whole thing with my jaw on the table in disbelief at the insanity that this man was spewing and the insanity that he lives in every day, but that's a different story. But they thought that RFK was done because they had him under his thumb. Then the great Satan comes along, gets reelected in landslide fashion.
And then the great Satan comes along.
And then Satan himself and Donald Trump puts RFK, the one that they had under their thumb, in charge. So not only do they hate him because he's the great Satan, because you have to hate him, now they hate the man that they had under their thumb even more. He's maybe even worse than Donald Trump in this role. Maybe.
This is all very enjoyable.
It's the truth, though. Am I wrong?
No, you were singing a song that I'm like, okay, I can't wait for the next verse. Yeah. Like, we're 60 days in, and you're making these people this crazy. Like, what's next? I don't know. I guess when you've already started with, you haven't even won office, and they've tried to assassinate you twice. All right, how do we take things up a notch from here?
Look,
he's
evil. He's the great Satan, and yet the American people are so ignorant in their view. They're so stupid, so ignorant, and so misled. And so they've bought hook, line, and sinker that Donald Trump can save them and only government can save them. That's what they'll tell you. I have an article from our show prep last night. I don't have time to get to it, but I'll just give you the overview. The Atlantic Magazine. Yes, that Atlantic Magazine. They have this one question that they just cannot answer, and that is, can they make government work? And the answer is no. You know that. I know that. They've had control of government forever. For freaking ever. As long as I can remember, the Democrats have been in charge of everything. And their fundamental belief is that government can solve your problems. And you and I know it can't.
No, you are the only one who can solve your problems.
That's right. Dude, I mean, it's so obvious that you have to be self-reliant in every aspect of your life. And if you're not, then you'll have to lean on government, and they can't wait for you to do that.
Oh, they've got the shoulder out there. Like, go ahead, put it right here.
Right here.
Just put it right here.
And then I'll wrap my arms around you.
And I'll take care of you.
And I'll start cutting you checks, and everything's gonna be great.
But all I got to do is just put my hand in your pocket.
That's right.
And don't worry about it. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yes, I'm just taking a small amount, very small.
Just a little. You won't even notice it
at all.
It'll be totally fine.
And yes, I'm gonna give it to people that probably didn't work to earn it. Just probably. Once in a while.
I just love that you talk to me softly.
Well, you have to. When you're taking people's money, you better talk softly.
You're giving me like pimp speak. just talking to me like real quiet, like.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine.
Just rubbing my back and saying it's totally fine. It'll be good.
It's good.
Don't worry about it.
Massage your shoulders.
Yeah. No. You won't even notice that money.
No. I'm gonna take your wallet out as I massage your shoulders.
I got this. It's totally fine. No, I love that we're at this point where after 60 some days, you have this insane backlash that comes across as it's more and more transparent. If it wasn't so clear what this administration's doing, which is if it's any sort of cabal, we're taking it apart. To watch then the cabal get upset and their only answer is, no, you don't understand. We're essential as government.
Don't you know, HHS? You're saying we can't take all these people and make it better? Look at all the people we have.
And then they do but the researchers. Here's how this actually works. Research typically is happening from private industry.
Yep.
And they're doing it because it's in the interest of profit.
That's right.
That's where it all goes.
And he even addressed that. Callie Means even said it when he was talking about the American Academy of Pediatrics being, by and large, funded by pharmaceutical companies. So do you think if the pharmaceutical company is paying for everything, that they would have a vested interest in telling you what's best for them?
I believe this would be, we can call it research. I think this is more about how are they establishing their next line of money-making products.
That's exactly right.
That's the game. They've got all this money. I mean, one of the things that'll make you crazy is that when you see so many of these studies and why certain things are not studied, because there's no money in it. Yep. They only put studies forth in order to get the outcomes they want on stuff that has money attached to it.
These people believe that government can fundamentally make people's lives better. That's what communists and socialists believe. Oh, if only we're able to implement it. Where have I heard that before? We'd get it right. Communism and big government never work, ever, and they never will. Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Xtra. 404-741-1230 is the number. If you'd like to respond, add to, take away, whatever you'd like. It's Friday. What did Rush used to call it? Open Lines Friday. But if you want to call it, we'll open the lines for you too. Trump knew in 1988 what needed to be done in 2025. That's the discussion next on the Morning Xtra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Friday, April 4th. When it comes to the Atlanta Braves, today is the home opener for the team, as the team now looks to dig out of a West Coast trip that ended with an 0-7 record. It'll be Spencer Schwellenbach on the mound tonight for Atlanta. He'll be opposed by Max Mayer. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear that game on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. And over the weekend from San Antonio, the Final Four goes down starting tomorrow evening. You'll have Florida and Auburn. That'll be the early action at 6:09. They will be followed by Houston and Duke. They will play at 8:49. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Me and old Dre were just talking about taxes. Nobody likes taxes. I don't know if anybody hates them as bad as I hate them. God, I hate taxes. But if you are getting a tax refund, here's the place that you should put it. This is what you should consider doing with it. For over 25 years, homeowners have trusted Southern Exteriors. They've done 200,000 projects, over 200,000 projects. They do windows, doors, roofing, siding, gutters. They do mill work. They get the job done right the first time. You invest that tax refund into your biggest asset, and that being your home. Make that curb appeal go through the roof. The value of the home goes up. It increases your value. Maximize your refund. 0% financing for 12 months or 10% off any project. Tackle those needed repairs today. 8779 Southern, southernexteriors.co.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Okay, you're driving along. Suddenly you hear that horrible sound of metal and crunching. It's an accident. Even if it's a little minor fender bender, man, that could be a nightmare. First, obviously, take care of yourself. But before you make a deal with an insurance company or anybody else, call David Van Sant with Van Sant Law. You know why? Because he used to work for the insurance company, so he knows how to get the right settlement and right away. Van Sant Law. Don't forget, if you don't get paid, they don't get paid. Protecting your interests. Insurance is great, but it's complicated. 855-GA-INJURY or vansantlaw.com.
If the president reignites the economy, the price of one commodity, oil, could go way down and dramatically reduce everybody's cost of living. But do you know which commodity could soar in price? Silver. Because silver is an industrial metal. It's used in things like electronics, cell phones, TVs, computers. And if the economy booms, the demand for all of these products will boom right along with it. That's why Investing Haven predicts silver will test its former all-time high of $50 in 2025 and move higher to $77 by 2028. That's a 50% price increase and 140% higher in 3 years. If you want to learn more about rising silver prices ahead, call Lear Capital now at 800-889-3070 for your free Sky High Silver Report and Precious Metals IRA Guide. And when you call, you can also ask how to receive up to $15,000 in free gold or silver with qualifying purchase. 800-889-3070. Call them today. 800-889-3070.
Central Heating and Air Conditioning wants you to know the start of the new season is the perfect time to ensure your home's comfort. Don't wait like most people do to have your HVAC system serviced. Your home should have maintenance twice a year. Maintenance helps keep your system running at peak efficiency and extends the life of your equipment. So turn to Atlanta's Carrier experts for your system's maintenance. With Central, you get Carrier products, Carrier warranty, and Carrier peace of mind. It's allergy season, and Central Heating and Air can fix what ails your house and possibly your family with home ventilation and air quality products. Central has packages designed around health using variable speed, fresh air ventilation, air cleaners, air purifiers, dehumidifiers, and more. Central Heating and Air is one of the few second-generation, locally owned and operated HVAC companies in Atlanta. With Central, you're not just a number, you're a member of the family. It's been that way since 1947, and they've serviced over 100,000 customers right here in Atlanta. Call 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-383-7733. That's 800-383-7733.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group. The Morning Extra has you covered until 10 a.m. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, and Buck Sexton at noon, and the Kimmer Show taking over at 3, only on Extra 106.3.
I'm not saying it was as big as the Braves on TBS back in the day, but it was big. There was a following like you'd never seen before for a TV show hosted by Oprah Winfrey. The Oprah Winfrey Show, if y'all remember, because it was so big in my young years, and then I don't know what year she stopped it. Was that mid 2000s?
What are we at, like a decade or so since she was on? Like, and now she'll do like the offshoot specials and Oprah Network, but I mean the Daily Special or the Daily Show, I think last aired like 2014.
Yeah. Do you remember how big Oprah was though?
It's huge.
I mean, it was like nothing we'd ever seen before.
It was appointment television because of what she was going to get into, and in a world where the Phil Donahues and the Monty Williams and just all the different people that were doing that programming, she was the alpha,
head and shoulders above everybody else. It was the biggest stars went on to Oprah's show. The people that had the biggest inventions or the whatever it was. The most important things culturally at the moment, they all ended up on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Donald Trump was one of those people that was invited often to the Oprah Winfrey Show. And if you were to reflect and rewind back to 1988, you'd hear Donald Trump tell you what needed to happen and needs to happen in 2025, Los.
I do love the idea that he is now on the record for the better part of 40 years telling you the exact same thing he's telling you from the White House.
Not much has changed at all, and we'll play it for you now. This is Trump on Oprah explaining then what he's doing right now.
What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily, I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country, because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And, hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
This sounds like political, presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
Yeah, it doesn't. But, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
That's amen. And
there it is.
It's so fun. And we left it in there because of what he said, if it got bad enough. And that was always his thing. If it got bad enough, it gets bad enough. If things don't look like it's going America's way, then maybe I'll do it. And obviously he did, and things have not been great. But I want to point out a couple things that he said. I made note of pay their fair share. Where have I heard that before?
Let's see. Kind of happens on the other side all the time.
Pay their fair share. Boy, you'd think the Democrats would be all about this.
What exactly is my fair share? Is my next question.
Well, right. They can never explain that. But he was talking their language. They should love, and they did. They did until he said, I'm a Republican. They loved him. And then they turned on him like a bunch of pit vipers. The other thing that I wrote down, Los, as we sit here in 2025, listening back to what Donald Trump said then and is doing now, should be no mystery, no surprise to anyone. The other note that I wrote down as Donald Trump was delivering that to the biggest show in all of media at the time, the Oprah Winfrey Show, was they're dumping their VCRs on us. When's the last time you heard somebody say anything about VCR?
It's just so consistent because, again, we're talking about going back to 1985, 1986, and that's what he's talking about. Right. I can fast forward to, the early 2000s when he was on Greta Van Susteren, and he said the same thing he was talking about what the Chinese were doing. Yep. And Tug, he flat out articulated it that if things get bad enough, I'll run, but I'm not looking to run. And so by the time he comes down the escalator, this is the guy, considering what we have going on in our markets and the volatility right now, this is one of the world's best businessmen. No doubt. We're running our country like a business. Let it operate, and let's see where it goes.
I expect, because you're already seeing you're already seeing countries fold. You're already, I mean, the Canadian, the new prime minister in Canada, he was talking all kinds of trash about how America's no longer an ally. This relationship has been severed. He was, and it was very deliberate in his words and his messaging. And now he's coming to the United States to sit down with Donald Trump. What happened from, say, I don't know, Monday to where we are today? Because his tune has changed completely. You got Europe melting down.
Yep.
You got Asia melting down. But the folks, and Canada didn't get it as nearly as bad as they could have. Mexico and South America is celebrating. You got Brazil. And they're thinking, man, this is going to be great. We're going to get a bigger share of that American economy. We're in this hemisphere. We're going to do things. And everybody that you thought might be railing against this is saying, no. We're going to negotiate. We're going to talk with President Trump and get a better deal for ourselves, which is the whole point to begin with.
That was, I mean, that's the gist of it. It's the epitome of America first, right? I mean, that's how he ran. That's what he pushed. And the fact that he's been talking about it for 40 years, and now that we're looking at it from a policy perspective, like I saw the note last night that Vietnam capitulated and decided, yeah, we're not doing the tariffs anymore. Okay. Is this going to be one after another of all of these countries that are basically going to point out, we have taken advantage of the United States because of the strength of their economy, and we have taken advantage by using tariffs in order to protect our own industries? All right. If we don't buy American goods, we're going to get choked off. We need to have this. And so that's why over the next, as this has gone into effect, every 24 hours, there's some other major market that is basically saying, all right, we get it, America first, and America is first.
Yes. And talking about Vietnam, since you mentioned them specifically, South China Morning News pretty much laid out exactly what Donald Trump was saying happened, and they said the game is up because they would take everything from China, assemble it in Vietnam, slap a label on that said made in Vietnam to get around the tariffs that the Chinese were going to face. And at this point, like 56%. The South China Morning News goes, yep, we've been doing it. They've been doing it. The gag is up. So they even are writing about it. Everybody knows all of these things were happening. Everybody knows everything that Donald Trump has said has been true. And yet you have the Democrats and leftists all over the world just up in a tizzy, in an uproar because America wants to be treated fairly.
Well, everybody was talking tough for a month.
Yeah,
leading into April 2nd. Like Tug, you and I would do all the stories of, here's what these people are saying, and they're not going to put up with this stuff. And then, as it turns out, they all need to put up with this stuff. If you're looking at some of these tariffs around the world, even with us, and we call it reciprocal, we're not going as hard at them. We're just making sure we're going to make some money out of this thing.
That's right. And we're going to be treated fairly. If you charge us 10%, we're charging you 10%. If you drop yours to 5%, we'll drop ours to 5%. If you go to 0%, then we're going to go to 0%. That's pretty much the layout that Donald Trump has, and the way I understand Donald Trump saying this is going to work. So who could argue with that? If I treat you differently than I treat Jeray, and you say, hey, man, you've not been as fair with me as you've been Jeray, why would you do that? And that's all we're saying. That's all Donald Trump is doing.
I just like the idea that at some point somebody around the office is like, why don't you treat me like you treat Jeray? but it's true. It's these other countries are looking over at this entire situation and going, why don't you give me the Jeray treatment? Why are you bringing this down on me?
That's right. Why do you got to treat me like the way you treat Lowe's? I want to be treated the way you treat Jeray. You get treated so well. I love it. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3 when we continue. Who would have thought Bernie Sanders would be such a MAGA Democrat? Next on Extra 106.3.
If he is successful. The best accomplishment of the Trump administration will be getting rid of the useless Department of Education.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Springtime is here. Looking for a fun weekend with family, friends, and the kids? The Mitsubishi Electric Classic, presented by Venture, Georgia's only PGA Tour Champions event, returns to Metro Atlanta April 25th through the 27th. Pick your favorite hole to watch along the ropes or find public seating throughout the course. Enjoy scenic views, specialty cocktails, and fun for the whole family. Children 15 and under receive complimentary tickets with purchase by an adult. Join the excitement at TPC Sugarloaf in Duluth, Georgia from April 25th through the 27th. Tickets are available at MitsubishiElectricClassic.com/tickets.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Retirement means different things to different people. Some folks want to travel the world. Some folks want to spend more time with grandkids. For me, I'm looking forward to spending more time with my guitar. Whether extravagant and robust or simple and cozy, every retirement needs a plan. You wouldn't take a trip without directions. You have to know where you are before you know where you're going. Master Plan Retirement Consultants have helped many like you plan for their own retirement. Not only does Master Plan help you create the roadmap, they join you on the journey. So whether you want to travel the world, become a pickleball champ, or just looking for a good porch, a sturdy rocking chair, and an acoustic guitar, remember to plan well, because the destination is worth it. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a common seasonal virus, but it can have major implications on a patient's heart health. Most RSV cases involve mild cold-like symptoms, but up to 160,000 adults are hospitalized each year for more serious cases, and RSV can escalate chronic health issues. If you're over the age of 60, talk to your doctor to find out if the new RSV vaccine is right for you, and learn more at heart.org/RSV.
Hi, my name is Steve from Marietta, and we hired ATL Turf Co. to build our dream backyard golf setup. They installed a large 4-hole putting green, a sand bunker, a short game area, and did a full conversion to artificial grass around the pool with decorative retaining walls. ATL Turf Co. was really creative. They were efficient. The installation was a breeze. Price was completely reasonable, and I definitely appreciated their communication throughout the project. I would definitely recommend ATL Turf Co. to anybody thinking about doing a backyard makeover. You can check them out online right now at atlturfco.com.
We all know that life can be unpredictable. The moment you're planning that family trip and then the next somebody is sick. And that's why I want to talk to you about the Jace case, your ultimate safety net when emergencies strike. The Jace case isn't just that mess of medications behind the mirror up in the cabinet. It's an organized doctor-prescribed case of life-saving tools paired with a set of cards explaining exactly how and when to use these medications. The case is peace of mind in a time of uncertainty. Imagine having your essential prescriptions right at your fingertips, ready to go when you need them most. Whether it's a sudden allergy flare-up or a common cold, you won't have to scramble to find the help you need. It's about taking charge of your health and being prepared no matter what life throws at you. When you order your Jace case today, use the promo code BECK at jace.com for a discount. Don't wait for the unexpected to catch you off guard. Be ready with the right medications on hand the moment you need them at jase.com, jace.com, promo code BECK.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
More money can be lost on Wall Street. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. On top of the more than $2 trillion wiped out yesterday in the biggest stock sell-off since COVID hit in 2020. Stock futures falling again right now. After the Dow's nearly 4% drop, the Nasdaq plunged almost 6% over worries about new U.S. tariffs on just about all imports and other countries' retaliation. But President Trump insisted on Air Force One last night the market will rebound in a manufacturing boom.
There are no tariffs if you build your plant or you build your product, make your product in the U.S.
On the trip to Florida, the president spoke with traveling press and was asked if he would cut a deal to end the tariffs.
It depends. If somebody said that we're going to give you something that's so phenomenal, as long as they're giving us something that's good.
Fallout from the tariffs and market reaction were the hot topics on Capitol Hill. Democrats have been vocal about their opposition, while some key Republicans are giving the president the benefit of the doubt.
That's Fox's Mike Emanuel. Another Trump executive order is being challenged in court. The one requiring states to follow new rules in federal elections. 19 Democratic-led states are fighting back.
The president issued the order last week requiring people give proof of citizenship when registering to vote, and all mail-in ballots have to be received by Election Day. But state attorneys general said the order is an unconstitutional invasion of states' authority to run their own elections. President Trump has said the U.S. has failed to enforce necessary election protection.
Fox's Jill Nato. A flooding disaster looms potentially. Advisories from Texas to Pennsylvania. Areas already hit by nasty weather, especially Tennessee, where Governor Bill Lee says.
This is a multi-day severe storm that has already produced tornadoes, heavy rains. 5
people were also killed in Tennessee. Another in Missouri. And a man died in Indiana when he drove over down power lines and then touched one when he got out of the car. America's listening to Fox News.
U.S. Air Force Technical Sergeant Jesse Clark's military service came to an end after a chemical exposure caused a large tumor to form in his brain. As a result, he is paralyzed on the left side of his body, legally blind, prone to memory loss, and in a wheelchair. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation built this hero a new smart home to help him live a more independent life. Help heroes like Jesse Clark. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
For hourly Fox News updates and the best in conservative news and talk, keep it on Extra 106.3 or download the Extra 106.3 app.
Yes, give it to me. Give it to me.
Starting with some poison. On Friday morning, someone's getting Bob. Come on. Dude, that is a, what would you call it? A guilty pleasure, I guess.
Oh, this is a party anthem.
Hair bands. I just got on a kick the other day, and it started with, what song was it? Slaughter, Up All Night. Remember that song? Up all night, sleep all day. Dude, I turned it up as loud as my old truck speakers would go. They were cracking. It sounded terrible, but I was singing to the top of my lungs. And then I just, on the, the Apple Music app, I just hit the infinity thing where it just populates all kind of songs similar to that one. Dude, I heard Fly to the Angels, Slaughter. I heard Poison, Nothing But a Good Time.
Ooh, nice. That's another good one.
It was so good.
Don't need nothing but a good time.
On a Friday night, there's nothing better. That's what we need to be listening to all day. What else got thrown in? Skid Row, 18 in Life. I mean, nice. Dude, there's just so many of those. White Lions cover of Radar Love, the Golden Earring song, which is such a great cover. They do such a great job. I mean, they had 2 hits, Wait and When the Children Cry or whatever in the 80s. But one that got looked over was Radar Love, their cover of Golden Earring, which they killed it. It was so good. It was so good. I went back and listened to it twice. I was like, oh, I hear that again.
Radar Love, that cover is, again, it charted. It did really well.
It's so strong. But I don't think people, when they think of that band, they equate that. I think that's one of those forgotten gems that gets looked over. I love it, dude. And I think it was Wednesday that I was on my hairband kick, and then Jeray's put me back in. I may start back up because
I might have a little bit of a Friday evening where I just go, classic country and some like 80s hairband music.
Because I sent Los last night.
Yes, you did. I appreciated it.
When I was drinking on my whiskey drink. What was going on? Laura was doing. I'm trying to figure out what Laura was doing. She had done something, and so I just started cranking. She was outside with a dog or something, and I just started cranking classic country in the house, and I started with Jose Cuervo. Dude, I love that song. Jose Cuervo, you are a friend of mine. Dude, it is so good.
I like to drink you with a little salt.
And the horns in there with Silly
so
West. I sent this kid that's a dear friend of my son Jacob's. He's a quarterback down at Georgia Tech. his buddy, his roommate, is old country boy from the mountains of North Georgia, kind of like me, and he loves classic country. So they will send. They call me occasionally, just when they have some time away from the team and some downtime, and we do pop quizzes, classic country pop quizzes. And I sent them that song last night, and they had never heard it, and they loved it. And these kids are they're 20 years old, and my buddy. Jacob's buddy Ben, he said, "Dude, that song's got such a vibe."
it's nice when it resonates with them when they're like, "Oh, cool,
dude, I love it." And I hope you're breaking out some of this stuff on your daughters too, man. It's going to take a little while. They're going to reject it first. They will.
It's been funny. Like, so my 10-year-old, slow on the uptake, not into the sort of stuff that I'm into. 14-year-old, she's in that sweet spot. Okay. Where if it's 90s oriented, and I think we all did this. Like, I remember listening to a lot of 70s rock and 70s folk when I was, a young teenager. They've gone back to hearing 90s. And so, she's got her playlist, and it's a bunch of 90s bangers. I'm like, okay, this is pretty fun.
So good. God, love it. This is the best.
Because half the time I can tell her, I went to go see that show.
Yeah, I've been there, seen that, got the T-shirt. and if I dig it out of the closet, you'll probably want to wear it. At some point.
You're going to just take it away from me.
That's right. Morning Xtra at Xtra 106.3. Thank God it's Friday. Thank you for being here. 404-741-1230. Who would have thought, front office Los, that Bernie Sanders would be such a MAGA Democrat? Who would have thought it? I would have never thought it. But in 2008, that's exactly what he sounded like. We have all this backlash from the mainstream media. They can't wait to tell you how the Dow futures are down 1,100 points. I mean, it's a bloodbath. It's the worst ever. We can't believe what Trump is doing. He was handed the greatest economy of all time. That's what I heard Democrats talking about yesterday. Joe Biden handed off the greatest economy. It was great, and it didn't take him 2 months, and Trump just ruined it. He flushed it down the toilet. He's an awful man, and he wants to destroy this country so he can take it over as an authoritarian, as a dictator, whatever.
I mean, this is really grasping at straws. This is the idea that, and it's so in the moment. I think it was Jimmy Fallon that I was listening to yesterday when I was driving around, and he talked about how what is going on because of the Democrat, the depression within their ranks, that they take any small morsel of any good news for them, and they try and build it into, okay, this is going to happen into perpetuity. Yes, we're dealing with some craziness in the markets, but now's the time. You want to buy in, go buy in, and then you can go ahead and ride the wave, and you'll get your money from there. But to think that every single day is going to be the same thing in terms of, market's failing, we got these issues, we're dealing with an oncoming recession. This is Donald Trump threading an economic needle, and so far so good. We'll see how it plays from here.
And I love that Bill Ackman, one of the richest men in the world, great businessman, I love that he says, if you're one of these countries that Trump has put the tariff on, don't be the last to the negotiating table. I love that he points that out because that's exactly what Eric Trump said. He said in a tweet, too, don't be the last person in. You better be one of the early people coming in saying, let's make a deal. And I think the end of his quote is, because I just pulled up Bill and moved away from Eric Trump Jr. Eric Trump. He said, I've seen this movie play out too many times in my life, or something to that effect. But the point is, they know what Trump's game is. They understand what Trump is doing and what he's trying to accomplish. But I want to play you this from Bernie Sanders, just so you can hear that. I know we don't talk about hypocrisy. We don't try to point out the hypocrisy, but you can't miss it. It stands out that all of these Democrats were rallying for tariffs until Donald Trump wants to use them to benefit this great nation of ours. This was back in 2008. Listen to old Bernster.
Further, what they have said is that we need to not worry about manufacturing in America, because what we should establish is a policy of unfettered free trade. We don't need tariffs. What we need is to allow corporate America the freedom to throw American workers out on the street, people who are making $15, $20, $25 an hour, health care, pensions, throw them out on the street, because somehow, Madam President, we are going to create wealth in America and good-paying jobs in America as we shut down plants, we move to China, corporations there pay workers 20, 30 cents an hour, and we bring the product back into this country. And anyone who goes shopping in a mall knows how difficult it is today to find the product made in America. But that is the philosophy. And I have to say in that regard, the champion, and he is honest on this one. Senator McCain has been criticized recently for not being the most honest candidate we have seen in terms of his ads and so forth. He has been honest on this one. He is the lead advocate of unfettered free trade. And that's an also important part of this right-wing ideology, that it is good for America that corporations can go to China and bring products back into this country.
So there you go. So Bernie selling the Trump tariffs for Donald Trump. Selling it. This is, of course, 2008, because flip the script. Now we're in 2025, and he's like, no, tariffs are terrible. Donald Trump's bad. He's a Hitler. He's a dictator. All those things. Where's that Bernie Sanders? Where's MAGA Bernie Sanders? I wish he would show back up.
So we're talking a span of 17 years, and yet 17 years ago, everything he said is exactly the plan of what is going on. It's because it's Bernie Sanders is why it resonates. Because right. Bernie Sanders, Tug, let's face it, he picked up his level of celebrity within the party because he was the one who was talking about size in government and the amount of spending. Now, again, he's a socialist. It's part of what he does. But even 17 years ago, he recognized the issue and pointed it out and articulated what we need to do to fix it.
And that's what Donald Trump is doing. Maybe we should have listened to a little bit of what Bernie said back then. Maybe. Not all of it, but maybe he had a morsel of credibility then that he doesn't have anymore with all of his crazy socialism and all the things that he says that makes no sense. And then he even did an about face on that too, right? He's no longer in favor of all those things that he used to say are great, and now Donald Trump is implementing, and now he's not as happy about it. I can't figure out where people are coming from, to be honest with you, except for I should probably correct that. Except for we hate Trump and anything he stands for, we're going against.
It's so partisan. It's what it really comes down to. And because, and we've seen now the ratings and the numbers where in some polls, the Democrats within the House are polling as low as 21% as far as the favorability rating. So all they have as of right now is just oppose the guy. That's it. Even though whether it's Nancy Pelosi 40 years ago or Bernie Sanders 17 years ago or Chuck Schumer 20 years ago, they've all advocated for exactly what this president, who does have the political capital and the strength to get done, is actually going for.
Maybe. When the Titanic turns around, when the aircraft carrier turns around, I always use the aircraft carrier analogy because I was stationed aboard one for a year. And it took a long time to slow that big old metal, amazing airport on the water, slow it down and turn it around to head the other way. But once it did, it was the most amazing fighting force you'd ever seen in your whole life. And I expect when we get this American economy turned around and we put America in a place that it can open up the economic engine that is available under the hood of the United States of America, it will be a lethal fighting force, just like those United States Navy aircraft carriers that I've seen in action, that I've seen work, and I hope that is the case. J.D. Vance confirms that Elon Musk, because there's been a lot of talk, Los, that Elon, they're going to ask him to leave, man. He's getting so much heat. They're going to push Elon out, put him out to pasture. Not the case.
Yeah, not the case. J.D. Vance basically confirmed what Elon Musk had put out there during the week, that Elon is in until Doge is not needed, until Doge is no longer going to be a functioning entity of the federal government in order to go and chase down waste, fraud, and abuse. And so when you look at that, you had one company that is owned by Elon Musk ends up purchasing X, and everyone goes, well, see, look, he's taking a step back and he's getting out of this thing. J.D. Vance, as like the voice of reason, ends up being the guy to step forward, and Elon Musk ends up pointing it out. No, he's not going anywhere. And so for those people that were thinking, hey, maybe if we burn down enough Tesla dealerships or shoot guns into them or desecrate some of the vehicles in there, maybe he'll eventually leave government. As it stands right now, I think that's only strengthened his fortitude.
Oh, yeah. It strengthened his resolve because he knows what they're doing. He knows they're trying to intimidate him. He knows they're trying to put pressure on him because he's over the target. And it's funny because J.D. Vance he's a Marine. Like, Marines are badasses. And J.D. Vance, isn't he always the voice of reason? It's like Trump is the guy that comes out just guns a-blazing, taking swings wherever a swing needs to be taken. And J.D. Vance is the steadying hand right behind him. They're a good yin and yang, I do believe.
Well, and I think about, some of the stuff that we saw when it came to the whole, Signal Gate. It's Signal Gate.
Right.
When you read through it, one of the people in there who ends up pointing out some stuff and using some sanity was J.D. Vance. I just think that he is very even-keeled.
Me too.
And he understands the game. And he knows that, unlike his predecessor, Kamala Harris was hidden in the dark because if she talked, things were problematic. J.D. Vance, when we talked about how important this pick was going to be, that when you only have 4 years, here's the next leading candidate. He is checking all the boxes in terms of just his mentality and the way that he is just very cunning and very smooth about how he goes about his business.
Yes, he is going to be a great president, and he is going to be something that the left, they think they hate Donald Trump. We've talked about it before. They're going to despise J.D. Vance.
Oh, my God. It's going to make him crazy. Remember, he's far more conservative in terms of what he believes in than Donald Trump.
Exactly right, dude. And they are not ready for it. They have no idea. They just hate Trump. They don't even notice that he's not the most conservative of guys in the world. He's very moderate when it comes to social issues. I'm way more conservative than Donald Trump is. Do I appreciate him and what he's trying to do for the country? Yes. But I think that shows the openness to the conservative side of the conversation, is that he and I don't align on everything, but I understand what he's trying to accomplish, and I appreciate what he's trying to accomplish, because at the end of the day, it's the America that we want to protect, we want to preserve for future generations, namely our kids and grandkids, and even further down the line. Isn't it interesting that it's the loving left? They always tell you how they're willing to listen. They want to stand up for the little guy, and when you put it into practice, that's not at all what they want to do. They don't want to do that at all. They want to tear it down and create socialism and communism. That's what they want.
Well, and again, we talked about it when, what was it? It's the Cloward-Piven?
Yeah, the Cloward-Piven method.
Sweet, we got it again. We did it again, Tug.
Yeah.
I give you credit. You're the one who remembered Cloward. I was like, I know Piven is on the other end of it. That was our moment yesterday.
It's because it's close to my name. That's the only reason.
Tug and I were like high-fiving. I was like, I can't believe we remembered that. I mean, this is from the 1960s, a pair of professors that told you, here's how you tear it down. And part of that, one of the biggest aspects of it was you put a hindrance on the social systems of the United States. You bring in many more people, 30 million, and you put them all on welfare or Social Security, and you let them raid the Treasury on their own. What is going on now is that it's a handful of candidates that we're now getting on the other side that are just talking about truth and talking about, here's how we're going to do this. And the weird part about all of it is that the Democrats have already brought all this stuff up. It's just a matter of now, here's this area where we should have a unification between the two, but because of the hatred of Trump, it's never going to happen.
That's right. We're closer politically than we ever have been, but TDS doesn't allow it to work. It's complete Trump derangement, or Elon, in some cases, Elon derangement syndrome. We're closer politically than we've ever been. And yet one side wants to move farther and harder to the left. Doesn't matter that the country could be unified like never before if they would allow it to happen. Ted Cruz lights up a big-name Democrat over that second wave of Trump lawfare that we brought up yesterday in the show. You have to hear old Teddy Cruz get after. It's fantastic. You are going to love it. Next on the Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.3. The legend Neil Bortz is only on Xtra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Not only do we all belong to the government by default, we all belong to government unions. Is that the process that's going on in the minds of these people, blindly criticizing any attempt to cut back the size and power of the federal government? Think about it.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Xtra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Xtra 106.3 app.
If you're the decision maker at your company, we have great news for you, for your HR department, and for your employees. A new and future-forward way to do health benefits is here from Thatch. Not only do your employees get better health benefits with Thatch, but you save an average of $1,620 per employee per year. That's right. You can save over $1,600 per employee per year. Plus, Thatch reduces the time your HR department spends administering benefits. Businesses all over the country love Thatch's breakthrough approach. Rather than a wasteful one-size-fits-all plan, Thatch empowers your employees by letting them customize their own benefits plans. And you save money and time while providing your employees with better health benefits, which works better for everyone. Book a demo with Thatch and we'll send you a $100 gift card. Visit thatch.ai/radio to book a demo for your gift card. That's THATCH.ai/radio. Thatch.ai/radio.
This is Tom with the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, what's with all this honesty stuff?
We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly.
How honestly?
We guarantee that each vehicle we sell will come with a bill of sale showing what we paid for the vehicle. You'll pay what we pay, plus our disclosed fee guaranteed.
No gimmicks or tricks?
Nope.
Man, this sounds like a new way to buy a car.
Get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1 or visit honestcarguy.com.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. You know, a great smile can make you more successful as well as make you happy. Yes, it's true. And your smile's waiting for you at my dentist, Dr. Dina Giesler, my friend for 30 years and dentist forever. This woman at Atlanta Smiles, atlantasmiles.com, the dentist with the doggy. It's really true, whether it's just regular cleaning or bridges or crowns or are your teeth bothering a little bit, maybe a little ache or something, or your gums it's not going to get better on its own. Take it from me, I found that out the hard way. Taking care of your teeth and gums and everybody's happy. And by the way, you can relax with Dr. Dina. This is an individual, private VIP experience. The latest technology. She used AI to get my last thing done at my last visit. And don't forget the doggy. She's a little doggy to take a nap in your lap while you're getting your work done. And this staff, these ladies are angels, I promise you. You'll love going there. A veteran herself, Dr. Dina, 10% veterans discount off the top. Tell them when you call. 404-262-7733. Your smile's waiting. Get the doggy at atlantasmiles.com.
Calling all contractors. Stovall & Company Wholesale Landscape Supply is here for you.
We've been family owned and operated for more than 75 years, and we just opened our 11th location in Canton, Georgia.
We are proud to provide all your wholesale irrigation, nursery, and landscape supply needs.
We are partnered with Keystone Hardscape to offer a wide variety of products to enhance any outdoor living space.
Here at Stovall, we have it all. Check us out at StovallInc.com or visit any of our convenient locations throughout North Georgia.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 3 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffers from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. We provide testosterone replacement therapy, the P-shot, and treatment for ED, PE, and Peyronie's disease. There's not just one therapy that can solve these complex issues. When you visit our clinic, you're going to see me. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. 404-777-1911. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. 404-777-1911. Online at tbtofga.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your headlines for Friday, April 4th. Today is Sine Die, the last day of the Georgia legislative session. Among the more controversial bills, a religious freedom bill for Georgians, a bill banning DEI practices in schools, a school safety bill, and a bill banning taxpayer dollars being used for sex changes for inmates. Georgia Democrats staged a walkout on Wednesday to avoid voting on the transgender bill. Federal investigators have identified the Alpharetta man arrested in the largest fentanyl bust in state history. Antoine Brown was arrested after police found over 240,000 pills in his vehicle, enough to kill 2.5 million people. Investigators say that amount of the drug points to a direct connection with a major Mexican cartel. The Braves opened their first home series this weekend at the Battery, hosting the Marlins. The Braves are still looking for their first win of the season. The Phillies come to town next week. Today's weather, cloudy in the high 60s this morning. Temperatures rise to the mid-80s this afternoon. A cold front arrives on Sunday, bringing rain and lower temperatures. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne.
7 o'clock hour is brought to you by Van Sant Law Group. If you're in an accident, make the right call, vansantlaw.com. Yesterday, we played you that piece of audio from Ted Cruz where he lays out the lawfare against Donald Trump. And then he talks about the second wave, which is this judicial action where Democrats, NGOs, activists, they file lawsuits, but they judge shop so they get the outcome they want. Then the blow up, the explosion that happened between Senator Amy Klobuchar and Ted Cruz when they were talking about this second wave of lawfare. I want you to hear how Ted Cruz handles this and the absolute beatdown that he puts up. And when you finish this, you're going to go, yeah, that's exactly right.
Donald Trump wants to make changes to the government. We should be doing it in a legal way, not how he's doing it. And the only reason there's all these injunctions, Senator Cruz, is because he's violating the Constitution. Why would Trump-appointed judges...
Why don't you file them in red districts?
Senator Cruz, why... What did you just say?
Why don't you file them in red districts? Why are the Democrat attorneys general seeking out left-wing blue
colleague
patient
with Senator
Cruz's activity in this bill?
Senator Whitehouse.
He's entitled to...
I'm just going to ask for a point of order.
He's got her on the run.
Exactly. He's got to make sure that she's not able to, or he's not able to continue.
I mean, he's got her painted into the corner, and all she's doing is looking around for a lifeline.
Somebody, make him stop. He is making too good a point that I have no answer to. Please shut him down because it's the truth. What you're judge shopping. You know it. We know. Everybody knows it. It's not even a well-kept secret. It's clear what's happening. Ted Cruz calls it out, and they're like, oh.
I mean, as he puts it, well, hey, file it in a red state. See what you think.
See how it goes. And the answer would be, it would go nowhere because it's nonsensical. And I don't see any way that this continues. It can't continue this way, Los. When you're having judges decide what the executive of the United States, the CEO of the United States, the President of the United States, the decisions that he can make to protect the country, when they're making those decisions and saying, no, sir, you can't, you have to leave murderers, rapists, and gang members in the country. I know they came here illegally, but they must be allowed to stay to terrorize the rest of the American population. This can't continue.
But I would say this, too. For me, there's a larger picture here, and as you said, like, this cannot continue. You have to start getting at this and saying, all right, what do we do moving forward that's going to be beneficial for everyone? Because they're not going to come along for the ride. All right, they're just going to fight you on every little thing. Right. And so, as much as I look at your Aunt Peg or my crazy uncle or anybody else, and I'm like, they're not going to go along for the ride. They're not. It's just how it's going to be. The bigger picture is, how do you continue to create beneficial situations? And one of the things that's going to have to get cleaned up is you can no longer allow the judicial branch to move in on the executive branch and show that they have power over it.
Right.
You know, that for the long term, again, as I talk about in big picture, for the long term of the country, you cannot allow this to occur if you're going to have a living and breathing constitution that actually works for everyone. We have to have 3 co-equal branches of government.
That's right. And I want to bring in another example just quickly of the CIA agents that were fired, right? So Doge and President Trump decides we're going to fire this group of CIA officers. There was a federal judge, because, of course, the CIA officers who had been let go sued. And the judge said, nope, Donald Trump, you can't fire these officers. And then asked for a report, asked for the executive branch, the President of the United States, to write a report on how he thinks he has the power to fire these people and why he thinks he has that power. What? I mean, write a report? What is this, 8th grade?
This is the frustrating aspect. This is why I talk about the big picture and how the judiciary cannot continue to encroach over on the executive branch. The CIA serves as a group underneath the executive branch. If anyone has the opportunity to make changes to it or to fire or to hire, it is the executive branch, not the judicial, and that suddenly doesn't come out of Congress either. This is who has this power. And so for every one of these low-level justices that the left continues to run to, I'm glad that Ted Cruz basically embarrassed Amy Klobuchar with this. Me too. Just embarrassed her with it.
Absolutely did. I need to reclaim my time or whatever it was she was saying. Anything to shut Ted Cruz down because he had pinned her to the mat. He had already won the match. And that's what has to get cleaned up, and I expect at some point it will, because Donald Trump's not going to stand around and allow this to continue happening. He's going to follow the law because he knows that he has to, but he's going to find creative ways to get around some of these laws, like with the credit card incident. Remember when the federal judge ruled that
told them you can't cancel these credit cards.
That's right. So they moved the amount that you could spend down to $1, which is brilliant.
That was one of the ways we've now seen that even with shipping out the latest amount of gangsters that were headed back to El Salvador. And what did they call it? They said, well, we conducted a terrorist operation in conjunction with the El Salvador government. All right, a action to defeat terrorism strictly falls on the commander-in-chief. There is nothing that a federal court judge can do about it. And so, like, they're tweaking the language to make sure to point out there's nothing we're going to allow you to try and derail any of this work that we're doing.
Yes. Over on CNN, Abby Phillips, she's not the reason that people watch CNN by any means, and her show. It's usually due to Scott Jennings. That's the reason people are tuning in.
He got his fat stacks raised.
He certainly did. CNN recognizes why people are watching in the small amounts that they are, and it is all due to Scott Jennings. But Abby Phillips, she is not afraid to stretch the truth, and she will get called out, Los.
Yeah, and she most certainly did. I want you to take a listen to this because what's going to happen is you're going to have Abby Phillips. She is going to basically put words in the mouth of Elon Musk. And the discussion point has been from Elon Musk that they do not intend, this administration, Doge, anybody else, intends to do anything to Social Security other than to clean it up. And cleaning it up has meant, why are we paying people that are 125 years old? Like that's been cleaning it up. It hasn't been that you lost any of your benefits. It hasn't been that there's been any sort of cut to your benefits. It is, who are the people that are on Social Security that should not be on Social Security? So with that in mind, that is what Elon has brought up. That is all he's ever said. Take a listen to what Abby Phillips tries to do and how she's immediately called on it.
He came to the state. He talked about cutting Medicaid, Social Security through Doge, bringing those issues up.
Actually, he never talked. He explicitly said in Green Bay that he would not cut Social Security.
Well,
that's exactly what he said.
Talked at his rallies.
No, other people said about that, but I was there. I watched him. Okay. He did not say he was going to cut Medicaid.
Other people at his rallies who work for Doge, who work for Elon Musk's organization, talked about those issues.
No, I was at the rally. Not one of them said that. That's what protesters said, but nobody there actually said that.
Do you think that there are risks here?
There are. People believe the lies that people are saying about that. But that's not at all what they said.
She went straw man. Okay, people are now saying, all right.
Who are the people, pal?
Exactly. Once you go straw man argument, you don't have an argument. You're now inventing someone and putting words into their mouth by which you then make your own statement. That was so well done to see that woman have to backpedal into, I'm like, no. It's again, because at the heart of the matter is Elon Musk has never talked about cutting Social Security benefits. They've talked about cleaning up who's getting Social Security and why they were getting it. And again, there was a 200-year-old person that was getting Social Security. Yeah, that one had to be at the door.
Yeah, but this has worked for them for so long. They don't realize that the old tactics of never having anybody that can go on social media and share the video that you were part of, in this case, Abby Phillips, and then put a little footnote down at the bottom and say, no, none of this is true. So we have now a new checks and balances, specifically in Twitter, but you're probably going to get it in Facebook soon because Meta has said we're going to do the same thing. We're going to give people the opportunity to fact check, to bring community notes, give more context to a conversation. They're not used to that yet, Los. They're used to the old method where they could say it and everybody took it to the bank because the mainstream media said it and there was no other place to get information.
Well, they had the benefit of under old X. If there was something out there that they did not like, they could get it taken down, they could get it removed, and that was the end of that. Now, what's going on is that you have video of what these people are saying, oftentimes within the hour that they say it. Mm-hmm. And so rather than them getting this 24-hour head start of here's what I said about this and here's how it's going to be, no, it gets countered within the hour. And so, and by the way, it then goes all around X. And so, so much of this stuff, which, I would say this, 10 years ago, you would hear that clip of audio on a show, except it'd be 3 or 4 days old. Okay, we get it within 10 hours.
That's right. And the beauty is, because I saw it this morning, something I had liked came up with a community note. And so it's in your notifications. I go over and look at it, and I was fine. Like, I still believed, and liked what was being said. I wanted to flag it, wanted to be able to bring it up on the show later. But those community notes are there, and you can then go back and have that extra context and look at what's happening and make your decision. Okay, was I misled? Was I wrong about what I thought was being said here? And there are people, and they have the ability to give you that additional way of looking at it. And it happened this morning, and I'm glad. I love the fact that those things pop up in my notifications so I can go back and get the full story. Because, with social media, it typically is, 2 or 3 minutes, maybe a clip. Now, I mean, you have some shows like Tucker Carlson, they're 2 or 3 hours. But by and large, it's always, just 2 or 3 minute clips. And sometimes the context is not there. So when those notifications pop up, you're able to be more informed. I love the fact that it's there, and Abby Phillips hates it.
Yeah, when it pops up for me, I go, oh, okay, here's
That's
additional information that has been associated to a discussion that I was already having. I look at it as a benefit.
But like Leslie Stahl, though, just talks about how nobody's paying attention to her anymore. The mainstream media doesn't have the bite that it used to. And she's concerned. She's not concerned that the information getting to you is vetted and you're getting the most valuable perspective you can get. She's concerned because you're not listening to her anymore. And the nonsense that she's putting out there, she can't skew your opinion like she used to be able to. The only people that are left are the people that voted for Kamala Harris in the very upper end of the demo that still get their information from those mainstream outlets that are not trustworthy.
No, and that's this is the evolution of information, and part of the reason why I believe, Tug, that this station has grown in the way that it has is because we happen to be an audio version of what you're seeing from X.
That's right.
The number one news site in the world. We go to it. We get information. We form some of our opinions based on some of the stuff we hear, but it's still the same idea of how can I critically break something down? I'm going to put my own opinion to it, but we're going to try and get you the newest information and unfilter it from what the news media, the legacy media does. I believe that's why we've grown in the way that we have.
And I hope that's the case, and I hope you'll continue to listen. 404-741-1230 if you'd like to add to the conversation. And we've talked about this a little bit earlier in the week and maybe more last week, and how many women are listening to this show, which I'm so appreciative of. And because I was told women don't like conservative news talk. That's just not what they're into.
Women will never listen to you guys. I'm like, I got Tug. Have you ever looked him in the eye?
That's right. No, but we were told that.
I got Jerry. Jerry's like, hey, ladies.
Freaking Jeray over there looking like Freddie Freeman.
Jeray.
How you doing? How you doing, girl? No, but it's so cool to see women be a part of the show, and you're always welcome, ladies, to call in anytime you'd like to point us in the right direction, to correct us, or, to just be a part of the conversation. If you got something you'd like to add, you are always welcome. 404-741-1230. When we come back on Extra, who's more popular right now, Trump or Democrats? Scott Jennings, which we talked about a minute ago, he has the answer for you in case there was any confusion whatsoever. Next on Extra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Friday, April 4th. When it comes to the Atlanta Braves, today is the home opener for the team, as the team now looks to dig out of a West Coast trip that ended with an 0-7 record. It'll be Spencer Schwellenbach on the mound tonight for Atlanta. He'll be opposed by Max Mayer. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear that game on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. And over the weekend from San Antonio, the Final Four goes down starting tomorrow evening. You'll have Florida and Auburn. That'll be the early action at 6:09. They will be followed by Houston and Duke. They will play at 8:49. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Neil Borch here. Maybe you've already taken the steps to improve your health, maybe save your life. You're using a CPAP for your sleep apnea. I've been using one for well over 20 years. So right now, I'm here to tell you about a source for CPAPs and CPAP supplies here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs, etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, CPAPs.com.
We all know that life can be unpredictable. The moment you're planning that family trip and then the next somebody is sick. And that's why I want to talk to you about the Jace case, your ultimate safety net when emergencies strike. The Jace case isn't just that mess of medications behind the mirror up in the cabinet. It's an organized doctor-prescribed case of life-saving tools paired with a set of cards explaining exactly how and when to use these medications. The case is peace of mind in a time of uncertainty. Imagine having your essential prescriptions right at your fingertips, ready to go when you need them most. Whether it's a sudden allergy flare-up or a common cold, you won't have to scramble to find the help you need. It's about taking charge of your health and being prepared no matter what life throws at you. When you order your Jace case today, use the promo code BECK at jace.com for a discount. Don't wait for the unexpected to catch you off guard. Be ready with the right medications on hand the moment you need them at jase.com, jace.com, promo code BECK.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on this station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Don't miss the Braves home opener at Truist Park April 4th through the 10th when the Marlins and Phillies come to town. Fans can enjoy some fun during the week, including Braves Walk on April 4th, where fans can line the streets of the Battery Atlanta as the team parades down the street and into the ballpark, welcoming in the 2025 season. And of course, the Braves are back with some iconic giveaways and ticket packages like the Chris Sale Cy Young bobblehead presented by Delta Airlines on April 9th. And brand new to the lineup this year, the Hello Kitty ticket package on April 10th, which includes an exclusive Braves and Hello Kitty co-branded light-up figurine. Plus, don't miss the first Kids Club Day on Sunday, April 6th, where the first 3,000 kids will receive a Chris Sale Triple Crown to wear. Some great seats still remain, and it's the perfect way to spend your spring break. Visit Braves.com/promos to check out the fun and freebies during the opening homestand and purchase your tickets. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
The president said it himself.
America is back.
And Extra 106.3 continues on as the only conservative news and talk station in Atlanta. The news changes by the day, and you can count on Extra 106.3 to bring it to you straight every day without the spin. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Los, we were talking about ladies listening to the show. Can I add one more point?
Oh, please.
And I just saw it when I was scrolling through X, formerly known as Twitter. And I do believe some of that popularity comes because we're not afraid to support women. We can identify women. We know what a woman is. Does that mean we want to be mean or rude to anybody? No. But are we very clear in what we understand the biology is for men and women?
We're not trying to replace them with us.
Yes, exactly right. Because there's no way I could get even close to being half the woman that my sweet wife Laura is, that I love more than anything else in the world, or my mama, or either one of my grandmothers. And it reminds me of this story that we saw in the last couple of days, the women's fencer, Stephanie Turner. You know, they banned her. The U.S. Fencing Association banned her because she wouldn't take on a man that was towering over her, that had longer arms and bigger reach, because he's a dude. I don't care what he identifies as. I don't want to be rude to him or mean to him because he identifies a particular way. But to pretend the biology doesn't exist is absurd. And that the polling shows that the majority, the overwhelming majority of Americans feel the exact same way. And I do believe that women appreciate that. If I'm wrong, 404-741-1230, or if you think that is possibly it. And I'll add to it that you're so, I mean, you're a great father to begin with. And you're so good with your girls. Man, you take those girls and make sure they're, on at volleyball practice on time, just like every parent does, I know. But you're so protective of those girls because you don't want them to be in that situation that Stephanie Turner was in.
Well, I grew up with brothers, and like the idea of having daughters. Like, I still remember when I was like 24 hours away from my oldest daughter being born. I was scared S-less because it was, what is this thing? I don't know anything about them. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? And I remember just thinking to myself, like, I don't even know, how do I handle a diaper with this? And so to then get into the progression of seeing what they become, but then obviously understanding that, women's strengths and their abilities lies in other areas from men.
It's the yin and yang,
it's just
man.
what it is. And part of, I hope, what I'm doing, because I recognize that at my age, girls are so much faster at maturing, and they're as a group, they are much wiser than the young boys at this age. And I have to think that there's some sort of intelligent design that says, okay, these are the people that have to procreate and make society work. Right. These other ones are morons, and we just got to go hunt and gather. It's like but if you understand that there is a difference in the sexes, then there's appreciation for the sexes, and that is what the other side completely ignores in basically saying that everyone's the same.
Yeah, they ignore the biology, but I do believe that's why the numbers for women are so strong on the show, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you ladies that are listening. Thank you, and please be a part of the show at Xtra 106.3 across the social media platforms.
Tug will lead your movement.
Yeah,
he's ready.
That's exactly right. If it's protecting women, yes,
Tug is like, let's go, sisters.
That's right, absolutely. I will be an advocate for you, no doubt about it. Man, one of the saddest things of life is, look, I love my son. My God, he's the joy of my life. My wife's the joy of my life. But if I could have had a daughter, and the timing didn't work out, there's all kinds of reasons behind it. But I would have loved to. That would be, if I could change one thing about my life, that would be it. That would be the one thing that I would change. Nothing else.
You can borrow one of mine for a weekend. See how you feel after that.
That's right.
Man, they say some stuff. They do some stuff.
Wild ladies, wild ones.
And it's different, man. Like when Jacob says something to you, there's a confrontational way that you can go at a boy of like, hey, you don't say that in front of your mother or that sort of stuff. It's different when it's a girl, man.
I can only imagine. I'm always impressed by girl dads. They just do it right, man. I love seeing it in the wild. Like if you're at like a volleyball tournament or a basketball tournament, whatever.
We're all like, oh gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's something great. Buck is in Lilburn, 404-741-1230, about being a girl dad. Buck, what's up, buddy?
Hey, guys. First of all, I don't know how you all formulate thoughts so early in the morning, so I'm going to try to get through this. with my brain half working. But I raised two girls. One of them was in sports, and she loved it, and I loved it for her. And I will say that, all the men were very protective of their daughters on the team. They wanted them to excel. They wanted them to enjoy themselves. And I think the one thing that is missed with the transgender part in all this, to me, is the people that are against it have nothing to lose. They don't have a daughter in that position. They're single people or people that never had a child. They're very idealistically motivated. They're probably have been groomed by their favorite lesbian professor in college to love this and accept this. They're social-minded to make sure they are part of the group, and they don't want to be the one that stands out. So I think the group that, everybody on the station probably gets it. Everybody at your church, Tug, probably gets it.
Yes, sir.
But, being a veteran and stuff and knowing that there are differences in male and female, it's people that have nothing in the game that
Makes
are
sense.
hurting this. So,
That absolutely makes sense, Buck. Thank you so much for the call, man. We appreciate it.
I think and Buck makes a point, and I want to definitely echo it. These people get caught up in it's an echo chamber, but at the same time, it is the enlightenment of, if I only think this will show that I'm so above these other people. That if I happen to believe that all men and women are the same and that they should all compete on the same fields, if I believe this, I'm smarter. Yeah. I'm more enlightened than these other rubes out there. And that's for those of us that have been and have been around women's sports and have daughters. You recognize there is a difference. There's a big difference.
And that's, I think, what Buck was pointing out.
And that's the idea of protecting women's sports, is that we've had boys play on my daughter's teams, but now that she's older, it doesn't happen anymore, because now that 9-year-old boy where we were having a lot of fun with, now he's 13 and he's different than everyone else.
Yeah, it's just biology. It's just natural. But I think that's what Buck was talking about, just the enlightened part about those professors that he brought up.
If you believe this, you'll be smarter than everyone.
Exactly.
But it's wrong.
That's right. You'll be told you're the smartest person in the room, but in reality, you're the dumbest person in the room, because you're buying into something that goes against science. And the trust the science crowd loves science, as long as it's using it to manipulate people and put them in a powerful position, i.e. COVID, i.e. masks, vaccines, all of it. They use that when it's convenient, and then when it's not, they back off. That is the thing that's irritating, I think, to most people, is that they just go against common sense all the time. And Buck pointed it out well. Thank you, Buck, for the call. We appreciate it. That's the part that because I'm not well educated. I'm 3-time college dropout. I'm never the smartest guy in the room, but I'm never the dumbest guy in the room. And I'm fine with that. Like, I gravitate toward people that are more intelligent than I am, that I can see value in their way of thinking, and I want to learn from that and maybe be able to implement some of that way of thinking in my own life, whether it's a professor or somebody that works in a carpet mill in Dalton, Georgia.
If you eat crayons, Tug is like, oh, that's the one in the room.
That's exactly right, man. The great crayons are my favorite. Those are the ones that taste the very best. Right. But I do believe, and ladies, you can tell us we're wrong. I think we're lining up. I think women, we're right there.
I think women, for the most part, when it comes to this show and why we do so well with them, it's because there's a healthy respect there. But at the same time, this fight was something that a lot of media decided they didn't want to have. They didn't want any part in it. And then by the time we got around to election time, and we started pointing out, this is a amazing ad that Donald Trump had when it came to transgender surgeries for inmates, for people who had lost their freedom, and how much that resonated when you had Kamala Harris. It was like, yeah, I want to be able to provide this to people. It became this idea of, how far will you go to try and create this sexless society?
Yeah.
And like I said, and as long as we were talking about it, it was, okay, these people are sane, let's pay attention to them.
We saw it in the Under the Gold Dome. the Democrats walking out.
They walked out because you weren't going to be able to have surgeries for inmates.
What? That goes against everything that the American people voted for and the polling shows.
They decided they had it with taking part in the process because you couldn't mutilate people in prison and take off their weens or cut off their breasts.
So weird, dude. So weird. When we come back, depending on your politics, you can clearly see what Trump's play is with the tariffs after a Neil Bortz report and a Fox News update. More in the Morning Extra. Tug and Los until 10.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
The Georgia legislature, our own version of the island of misfit toys. The Democrats, most of them walked out on Wednesday. Did you know that? Why did they walk out? To avoid voting on a bill that would deny taxpayer-paid sex change operations for prisoners in Georgia's prisons. They didn't want their vote on the board. They ran from the chamber and hid. Doesn't matter. The bill is on its way to Governor Kemp's office for his signature. How completely outrageous that any elected member of the Georgia General Assembly would ever stand up there and say, I believe it is more important that we take this money away from the people who earned it, away from the people who needed to support their families, away from the people who needed to pay their bills, and use it to perform a lobotomy on Georgia prisoners and make a woo-hoo out of it. Years ago, and pretty much everything in my life right now is years ago, I actually had the General Assembly considering a bill that would require members to affirm, if they were supporting a spending bill, that they needed that money for that spending bill more than the families who earned it needed it to take care of their children, their education, their groceries, their rent, whatever. You can only guess how far that went. These cowards can't even stand up to you, the Georgia taxpayers, and say, I'm sorry. I know you could have used this money for your own uses, for your own family, but we really need it to do sex change operations on Georgia's prisoners. Governor Kemp will sign this bill for two reasons. One, he's not a Democrat. Two, he's smart. Wait a minute. That's one reason. Smart and not a Democrat go hand in hand. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Convenience is defined as the state of being able to proceed with something with little effort or difficulty. Well, at RBM of Atlanta, we embody this philosophy. Meet our Mercedes-Benz pickup and delivery service. It gives you back time and money. Does your Mercedes-Benz need service? If so, we'll pick up your vehicle that's requiring service from your home or office and bring it back to our dealership for the required service. With over 100 appointments available every weekday, over 50 appointments on Saturdays, and more than 200 courtesy vehicles in our fleet, we're here to serve. We'll work around your schedule. We're here to save you time, energy, and money. RBM of Atlanta is a J.D. Power 2023 Diamond Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience and Georgia's only 9-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best winner. We're proud to be Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964. Pickup and delivery service restrictions do apply. Ask your service coordinator or service advisor for details.
Atlanta Braves fans, May is Military Appreciation Month and a great time to show your patriotism by purchasing a VIP table at the Warrior Alliance 4th Annual Veteran Impact Awards and Gala. The event will be held on Thursday, May 22nd at the Coca-Cola Roxy Theater at the Battery Atlanta and features dining, live entertainment, and Georgia-based veterans being honored for the significant contributions they are making in our communities. Purchase your VIP table today or make a donation at thewarrioralliance.org.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Fox News. Dow futures are falling 1,400 points after dropping more than 1,600 yesterday in the biggest sell-off since 2020. The Nasdaq lost almost 6% on fears new U.S. tariffs will hurt the economy worldwide, but President Trump insists
the markets are going to boom, the stock is going to boom, the country is going to boom.
Saying on Air Force One last night flying to Florida, the tariffs will lead to a surge in U.S. manufacturing.
We have $6 or $7 trillion coming into our country.
And his administration is echoing that line, even as the impacts keep coming. This morning, China announcing retaliatory tariffs of 34% effective April 10th. The president's aides maintain this strategy will work and the fallout will be short, despite recession warnings from some economists.
That's Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. President Trump also says these tariffs give him great negotiating leverage, perhaps even with TikTok.
China will probably say, we'll approve a deal, but will you do something on the tariff?
Well, the president says he's close to working out a deal to get TikTok to cut ties to its Chinese parent company ahead of a deadline to sell by tomorrow, or the social media app could be banned in the U.S. because of concerns about Chinese surveillance of Americans using TikTok and manipulation of content. The president could extend that deadline again. South Korea's impeached president's been formally removed from office by the country's constitutional court, ruling unanimously that the president illegally declared martial law.
Recent months have seen millions of Koreans turn out in public to either support or oppose Yoon Suk-yeol. Yoon says his martial law decree was to bring attention to what he calls the wickedness of the opposition Democratic Party.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. More severe storms could hit today. Texas to Kentucky after days of nasty weather, tornadoes. Tennessee got hit hard. Governor Bill Lee says there's a lot of damage.
Many families displaced, loss of life.
5 people were killed in Tennessee, 2 more deaths in Missouri and Indiana, and there's a threat of widespread flooding Texas to Pennsylvania. America's listening to Fox News.
U.S. Air Force Technical Sergeant Jesse Clark's military service came to an end after a chemical exposure caused a large tumor to form in his brain. As a result, he is paralyzed on the left side of his body, legally blind, prone to memory loss, and in a wheelchair. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation built this hero a new smart home to help him live a more independent life. Help heroes like Jesse Clark. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Align your business with other like-minded conservatives by advertising on Extra 1063. Email sales at xtra1063.com.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra as I crack open a Freebird water. So good. It's canned water, and it's canned up in the Blue Ridge Mountains. In the heart of the Blue Ridge Mountains. I love local businesses. I want to shop local. I think that's so stinking important. I'd rather pay just a little bit extra to go to a mom and pop place, whether restaurant or store, or to buy a product. I would rather pay a little bit more and get it local, knowing that my money's going to stay in my community or in the community that I'm buying from than going off to some big corporation somewhere. That's the way I feel, and I feel strongly about that because those are the same companies that you're buying from, those restaurants that you're buying from, that are going to be the ones that support your kids' ball teams, that are going to support the local high schools when they do a mulch sale like it's going on at the high school next to us at Alpharetta. That's why I like to shop local. Los, what about you?
I've just got my common water.
I got Freebird, baby. Let's go.
You
Lace and scattered, man.
You're the one that's winning. I've just got my little glass of water right next to me, and I'm like, oh, look how poor I am.
No. See, you're downplaying this because this afternoon you'll walk right in there into that conference room where the Freebird cooler is and get yourself one of those Freebird waters.
I'm going to grab me a couple Freebirds and be like, Freebird, here we go.
That's right. Play it pretty for Atlanta. Come on. Like they have in the a friend of mine, he posted this the other day, and I keep pulling it back to Leonard Skinner, obviously Freebird being a huge hit for them. And, there's that famous recording of Skinner playing the Fox Theater, and they have that line in there, play it pretty for Atlanta, when they get to the guitar solo. And that's emboldened or emblazed, rather, in neon lights above the entrance where you go onto the stage at the Fox Theater. It says, play it pretty for Atlanta. A friend of mine who works down there a lot and works with a lot of touring acts and whatever, he took a picture of he and his girlfriend underneath that, and I was so envious because I've never been able to take that picture before, and I've always wanted to, Los. One day I'm going to get there.
One of these days, you're finally going to get that shot that you want.
Dude, I've never wanted a shot for social media before. Like, it's never really crossed my mind, I'm going to take this picture for social media. Or I'm going to take this particular picture because I think it's so cool. I want this picture in front of, I don't know, Niagara Falls or whatever it is for you. In front of the Statue of Liberty. I don't know.
You know the one that we get in the area? It's people that like, hey, I want to be on top of Stone Mountain.
Yes,
and me, I don't like heights, so,
so
I don't need that one either.
Well, or under the sign or next to the Bobby Cox statue. I mean, there's 1,000 places in Atlanta that you could get a cool picture for social media or something that means something to you, something that's important to you. The house that ML King Jr. grew up in. I don't know, whatever it is. It could be any. Mine is Play It Pretty for Atlanta. That's the one I want more than anything else. Maybe
I think the one that I want, and it's going to be a little bit random, but I would like to be over, near the Butts-Mehre building, where you have the newer athletic facilities for Georgia, and I would want the one with the Georgia logo and then their moniker of Attack the Day.
Yes, sir. That would be awesome.
That's the one that I would want.
Yes, sir. That would be a great one, no doubt. Man, 404-741-1230. What's your social media picture? If you could pick one place to get it, it doesn't have to be in Atlanta. Anything. Around the world, is it in front of the Eiffel Tower? Is it in front of the Coliseum? Or is it Play It Pretty for Atlanta?
That's actually kind of funny. Like, I got mine over in the Coliseum. I'm like, okay, you went really old school. Really cool, though.
That's a good one, though, man. The Coliseum is amazing. I'm telling you, when I went there when I was in the Navy, 2 years prior, sitting in my, I guess that would have been 10th grade world history class, Southeast Whitfield High School in Dalton, Georgia. We're doing world history, and we're in Europe, talking about Europe, whatever. And they have the pictures of the Mona Lisa and the pictures of the Coliseum. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm from Dalton, Georgia. I ain't ever going to see those places, ever. Never going to see those places. 2 years later, I'm in the Navy, standing in front of the Coliseum. In the Navy, taking a picture of the Mona Lisa. It was the greatest decision I ever made to join the United States Navy. I got more out of the Navy than they got out of me. I promise you that is the case.
That is still very cool to me because for somebody like I've never traveled to Europe. My wife's family has. They've been all over Europe because they were stationed, in Heidelberg, Germany, and then Seoul, South Korea. They've been all over Southeast Asia and all over Europe.
So cool.
And to think, I'm probably a lot more like Dalton Tug of like, I don't know when I'll ever go to Europe. I probably will never go to Europe. Why would I ever go to Europe? Whereas
now, especially
you thought the same thing, and then like as you said, 2 years later, you're standing in front of the Coliseum. Like, that's pretty cool.
I still have those pictures, and I had the disposable camera that I was taking pictures. It's not like they're great photography. They're all some of them are blurry, some of them are off center or whatever. But I will cherish those for my entire life. And maybe one day, maybe, if Europe gets cleaned up, otherwise we'll avoid it. But if they ever clean it up and get it right, I'd love to take my wife and son to some of the places that I was able to go in the Navy. Yeah, I cleaned a whole bunch of toilets. That's about all they got out of me. For 4 years, man, they were the shiniest toilets you've ever seen in your life. I was the best toilet cleaner you ever seen.
Send in Coward. They're really dirty.
That's right. It was like, somebody dropped a bomb. It's gross in there. Cowart's the guy. Go get him. Take him off the SPA 64 surface search radar and send him down to the toilet. That way he can clean that thing up for us. It'll be great.
We have him looking for surface-to-air missiles. No. We got to get him back on the toilets.
Somebody's dropped a bomb. We already know where it is. So gross. And yet so true at the exact same time.
That's fun.
Oh, my gosh. Donald Trump playing the long game, especially when it comes to treasuries. Before we get to this, Los, I walked out during that Fox News update just in the sales pit. A couple of our sales guys standing around looking at the monitor that is hanging on the wall. We have two. If you come into Dickey Broadcasting, right as you come through the door on the right, two big, probably 50-inch TVs, not bigger. One is always on sports. The other's always on some sort of news. This morning happens to be CNBC, and they were watching the Dow futures, which are down like, down 3.18%. 12, almost 1,300 points, and they were just in disarray. They're like, "Oh my God, what are we going to do? This is terrible. Is he doing the right thing?" Or you could just see them. They're like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rockers.
All right, so here is the inside baseball that is not being talked about on a regular basis, and I get why. Because your 401k is typically in your face. And when you see what's going on in the stock market, you know on a daily basis that's hammering you or that's enhancing you. Either way, it's an immediate, it's almost like a roller coaster. It lasted like 90 seconds. It was a lot of fun, or it wasn't. Either way, you then have the experience, okay? What is going on right now, and you have to pay attention to it, is the Treasury yields and the amount of interest that they're paying. So, for instance, and this was actually Charlie Shrem who ended up pointing this out yesterday and then got on this long thread about it. But it makes sense. This is what the goal was when we started talking about, for instance, dropping interest rates. Interest rates have come down when it comes to a 30-year fixed mortgage. And you say, well, why is that? You know, the Fed has not dropped the interest rate. Why has it been happening? It's because the Treasury yield has been going down. When you look at the interest rate, it has gone from nearly 4.8% to 4.17%. Now, that's only about, basically 0.62%. But what does that mean long term? It means as of now that we're saving trillions in interest, okay? Like we're saving money actually because they're not paying out to the same extent. It's also lowering the pressure on inflation. And so you might be looking at what's going on, within the American economy and saying, look at my 401k. But have you noticed how inflation's way down and also the interest rates are dropping? It's not because the Fed did anything. It's because we've been lowering the yield on those Treasury yields. That is what's driving things down. And so that's the crazy part of what is going on behind the scenes in this economy. That is how things are getting healthier.
And I expect that will continue, and I expect to see all of these countries that want to negotiate with Donald Trump coming to the table. They're going to come to the table sooner rather than later. You had Canada barking and screaming and acting. The relationship with the United States is severed. It's over. And now their prime minister is coming to sit down with Donald Trump because he knows his country needs America's economy and America's marketplace more than we need them. And you're going to see that all over the place. So if you start pairing those up, your discussion on the treasuries and then countries coming in to balance the playing field, the Democrats always talk about fair. Everything's fair. We know fair is a construct by and large. However, all I want to be is treated the same as I'm treating you. I want it to be treated fairly. And I expect that's good. But combine those is my point.
Well, we're going to have a market condition where there is going to be some pain. Like that's part of what's going on. Yeah, I know Donald Trump talked about it with our farmers. And he's like, hey, for the time being, here's what the challenge is going to be. But on the other end is where the golden age is. And that I firmly believe in. Yeah, because I see where it's going. I see what is going on. We are essentially, if you were to imagine your country as a giant company, what is going on is we are restructuring debt. That is basically what we're doing. We're restructuring debt while also driving new revenue streams. And so I see the vision. I see where it's supposed to go. I know that when a company does this, and I know what happens, they emerge and they're stronger. I believe that's going to happen with us. But for the time being, this process is going to have some hiccups and some moments where the sales staff is going to be staring over at the computer screens and the monitors and going, oh, my God, look at what's going on here.
But on top of that, though, we've already talked about this, and we've been talking about it for 4 years, that the economy was not in a good place. It was brittle, just like Treasury Secretary Bessent has said, brittle. The economy was brittle. It was on a sugar high, to use your language, Los, because you've said that for as long as we've worked together. This is a sugar high. We all know that the government, the federal government, with their printing and spending, was propping up the stock markets. They have been propped up. They have been inflated. They have been overvalued. I see this as a good thing, because we're getting down to real numbers. What is the economy really like? What shape is it really in? And then what is Donald Trump doing that will benefit it, and it actually be maybe to those really high numbers again, but with real money behind it, with real progress behind it, not being propped up by printing and spending.
Yeah, real strength behind it. And just as you finish right there, Tug, printing and spending, the markets were tied. When I called it a sugar high, they were tied into government spending. It was, let's artificially create a scenario where we see additional revenue because of all the printing and spending. Look at all this money that's flowing through the system. Well, it's being printed with nothing behind it from the government. That is the overhaul of what is going on right now. It's back to having an economy that's based on our energy production and our manufacturing, not on government printing and spending money.
That's exactly right. That's what I want. I want a real economy, one that works for everybody, that is based in reality. And another point on the same kind of topic, because the jobs reports that came out under the Biden administration, they would always project this big number, and then 2 months later, when nobody was looking, nobody was paying attention, they would adjust them down, sometimes hundreds of thousands of jobs. So those jobs weren't really there. They were presenting this fake success that they were having. And then the little bit of success that they were showing were all government jobs, which do nothing for the economy. It actually takes away from the economy. It takes away from investment into real things, real businesses. And that's another thing that goes right along with the same conversation, that all those jobs that they said they created, they didn't. They were fake, just like the economy right now, that sugar high that's not real.
Well, when you start factoring out those jobs, it turned out there was 600,000 on a yearly basis that were fugazi. Okay, they did not exist. But the ones that did, by and large, were either healthcare or government-oriented jobs. And by the way, healthcare tied to government. So they were essentially more government jobs. You were pilfering from the private sector. Everything that Donald Trump has brought up is about strengthening manufacturing. When you had, and I thought it was, we don't have it as a big point in the show today, but I thought it was interesting that you had Ford Motor Company that decided, we're going to give you employee pricing for the next 2 months. And what are they trying to do? They're trying to goose their jobs. They're trying to goose their manufacturing and to get their sales and move them up a little bit with an interesting spike. And what is their big thing? We manufacture more vehicles in this country than any of our competitors when it comes to gasoline-powered vehicles. You know, they're trying to basically say, hey, we're about as American as it gets. Come buy American, because this is what this president's trying to push.
That's exactly right. And you're seeing GM saying that they're going to bring a bunch of their manufacturing back to the United States, and they're going to bolster everything in Fort Wayne, Indiana. A bunch of companies are doing this. I think Volvo in South Carolina. There's several of them. Now, Stellantis, they're saying they're firing people. Union folks, the people that work at the unions, those auto workers, are saying they're doing this at a very convenient time so they can cut jobs that they wanted to cut anyway and then blame it on Donald Trump, put it at Donald Trump's feet. That's what the company wants to do. And that's what those union employees are saying. I don't know if they're right, but I suspect they may be onto something.
Well, another thing that is coming, there's going to be a larger amount because of AI. We are going to have, in my opinion, an automation revolution.
Oh, yes, no doubt about it. That's what those dock workers were so upset about when we had that strike.
The striking dock workers were like, less automation, less AI. We want to be able to hold our jobs. When you look at some of the docks around the world, they are run by a very limited amount of people. Now, the people that do hold those jobs of keeping those machines working and keeping the algorithms right and everything else, those are extremely good jobs. Yeah, like that's big money if you can handle that. And so, yeah, we are going to have this transition where we're going to have American workers that are going to have to get more up to date with what is coming. And so, I talk about this more so with my wife than anybody else. She uses AI to help her on a handful of projects, and actually, her own company has their own AI that they've been building that is supposed to help workers with some of the stuff they do. We clearly have already introduced AI into the marketplace with some of our bits. I mean, this is what is coming. You're going to have to integrate it. We were early adopters.
You say we. You.
I jumped in very early.
I still can't navigate my way around it very well. But I'm learning from Los. I'm learning, and maybe that's something that maybe we can do like a after the show video to teach people how to do some of the things that we're doing on the show. That way they can surprise their friends and family with their own songs.
I mean, but it's not perfect. There's those aspects.
It's still fun.
Like I've gone over to Grok and asked Grok for information that it then takes me about 30 seconds to go, well, that's not right. But it's what happens.
You got to toy with it.
Yes, you do have to kind of work with the AI.
When we continue on Extra 106.3, CNN is so desperate. They brought back the Trump filters. Do you remember these? If you don't, we'll remind you of what they are next. 8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Your Atlanta carrier experts, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
Attention Warriors, are you a veteran ready to navigate to success after service? Tune in to the Warrior Alliance Network. Join us as we spotlight inspiring stories, provide essential resources, and connect you with a community dedicated to empowering veterans. From career advice to health and wellness tips, the Warrior Alliance Network is your go-to hub for post-service success. Tune in Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on Extra 106.3. Join us on the mission, the Warrior Alliance Network, where warriors thrive together. Visit us at thewarrioralliance.org for more information.
Shooting drills. A coach who knows the game can teach their team how to improve. But one who genuinely cares about each player
have what it takes. We got this.
Can inspire them to win. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Because when you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Start feeling unstoppable. Visit truist.com/care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
This April, the spotlight is on love with a full month of Sylvie jewelry at Solomon Brothers. For 30 days, step into a world of brand new designs and preview exclusive, never-before-seen Sylvie designs in store before the rest of the world, all at 20% off. This is Jaron Solomon, and Sylvie is a jewelry brand built on love. All month long, Solomon Brothers is helping celebrate your love stories with exclusive designs crafted for life's most special moments. While many brands claim romance, Sylvie lives it. Plus, enjoy special discounts and exciting perks only in April, only at Solomon Brothers. No matter the price, you'll find something nice. So don't miss out on our exclusive Sylvie event going on all month long and save up to 20% off all styles. Visit us today in any of our 3 showrooms on Peachtree Road in Buckhead, Old Milton Parkway in Alpharetta, and in Peachtree City, or shop online at SolomonBrothers.com or on Instagram at Solomon Brothers. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, the preferred jeweler of the Atlanta Braves.
Hey, this is Tom from The Honest Car Guy. We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly. We guarantee each vehicle we sell will come with a copy of the bill of sale, showing what we paid for it. You pay what we pay, plus a disclosed fee. Guaranteed. Honesty is the best policy, and we guarantee it. Finally, a pre-owned car and truck buying process that you can trust.
Get an honest car buy from The Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Senior software analyst positions offered by Texera Incorporated in Alpharetta, Georgia. Responsible for gathering and interpreting the business requirements and customizing Manhattan's product PKMS/TE, troubleshooting technical and functional issues, and coordinating work assignments across shores. Position reports to Alpharetta, Georgia office. Telecommuting permitted in accordance with company policy, but must live within commuting distance of stated office. Apply with resume to join us at TECHSERA.com.
You may know that ATL Turf Co. has become a leader in artificial grass design and installation services. But you may not know that ATL Turf Co. is a large artificial grass distributor. We only sell U.S.-made, premium name brand turf at factory direct pricing below wholesale. And now we're open to the public with large inventories of lawn and landscape, putting green, athletic, and pet turf on sale. Plus, all remnants are on sale for only $1 per square foot, direct from Dalton to our warehouse in Kennesaw. Visit atlturfco.com to learn more. atlturfco.com.
This is Bruce Hagan, the people's lawyer. When I started my firm, it was with the idea of providing personal representation for personal injury cases. We treat everybody like family, and it makes me so proud to work with my son to provide a great family-oriented law firm.
This is Matt Hagan.
As a father-son team, we know the importance of working together to get our clients back on their feet. Let us here at Hagen Law be your advocates. You can find everything you need to know at hagen-law.com.
hagen-law.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your headlines for Friday, April 4th. Today is Sine Die, the last day of the Georgia legislative session. Among the more controversial bills, a religious freedom bill for Georgians, a bill banning DEI practices in schools, a school safety bill, and a bill banning taxpayer dollars being used for sex changes for inmates. Georgia Democrats staged a walkout on Wednesday to avoid voting on the transgender bill. Federal investigators have identified the Alpharetta man arrested in the largest fentanyl bust in state history. Antoine Brown was arrested after police found over 240,000 pills in his vehicle, enough to kill 2.5 million people. Investigators say that amount of the drug points to a direct connection with a major Mexican cartel. The Braves opened their first home series this weekend at the Battery, hosting the Marlins. The Braves are still looking for their first win of the season. The Phillies come to town next week. Today's weather, cloudy in the high 60s this morning. Temperatures rise to the mid-80s this afternoon. A cold front arrives on Sunday, bringing rain and lower temperatures. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. Glad that you're here. 404-741-1230. Always welcome on the show, whether you're watching on YouTube or streaming, extra1063.com on the Extra 1063 app, which is the preferred method because you can listen anytime, anywhere, and you have the availability to listen to any show after it's done. Like if you missed some of the Morning Extra, go back and listen to it any day of the week, or Clay and Buck, Glenn Beck, local afternoon show with the Kimmer, which I need to make note again. The phone calls by the end of the week.
Kimmer vacation, everyone.
It's just a vacation. He's just gone to play golf with his grandson down in Florida. That's it.
Kimmer's been terminated so often that everyone goes, oh, it finally happened again.
No kidding. That somebody asked me, and I can't remember who it was, one of our sales guys says to me, my mother-in-law reached out, loves the Kimmer show, because he's been fired so much, thought he had been fired here. I swear to you, I put my hand on the Bible. I promise that's what I was told yesterday. Call.
It's what happens.
He's just on vacation. We love Kimmer. He's in good standing. Everything is just fine. He's just hitting.
He's in good standing. He hasn't offended that many people around the office because he keeps to himself.
That's right. He does. That's funny. Because he's so outward on his show, he's very, he's very vocal about the
jovial,
things.
Yes,
and he's not shy about saying what he likes and don't like. I mean, there's no doubt where Kimmer stands on anything. Yet, as a guy, it's like the microphone is his comfort zone, and people are his kryptonite. He avoids people like the plague.
It is so weird how there are a handful of guys that I've worked with in this industry where the more, as gregarious as they are, as talented as they are, the worst thing that can happen to them is you put them in front of people in real life.
Yeah, they just don't like it. They're not comfortable. And but you put them in a what's the size of this room? 10 by 15? I don't know.
Yeah, we're like 15 by 10 or so.
Whatever the studio is. Put them in here by themselves, which is it's almost like a fishbowl because we have this giant window to my left, usually where Los is, and he's home this morning because he's going to be doing the afternoon show on 680 The Fan this afternoon. He'll be in for that. But there's where you normally say there's a giant window. There's a giant window so I can see Jeray, and that's where people, kind of come in and they'll check out what the show's doing or the studio or whatever. It's a bit of a fishbowl feeling to it. Like you're an animal of some sort, and people just want to take a peek at you, like you're a wild bear or something. And
that's how I feel every morning. I'm like, I'm the bear.
That's right. That's exactly
I'm the
right.
bear here.
That's right. But no, it's the truth. Like Kimmer's totally fine with people peeking in through the windows, but by himself in the jungle that is the world, or even the office here at Dickey Broadcasting, he is avoid at all costs. Like Trump's fight. Kimmer's avoid.
Avoid. Stay away from me.
That's right. I don't want to talk to people. I just like to talk about them on the radio. And he does a splendid job. So he's just fine. He'll be back on Monday here on Extra 1063. CNN is doing something that I thought they'd maybe let go in for a while. They did. But they were the leading outlet doing this. And then other leftist outlets picked it up. You may remember what it is that I'm talking about, and that is the Orange Man Bad filter. CNN has picked that back up, Los.
Yeah, we saw this now whenever they're looking to create a narrative and for a lesser extent to defame someone or to try and make them look a certain way. They're now throwing filters on their images. For instance, one of the more famous ones was Joe Rogan. That when Joe Rogan, the biggest podcaster in the world, doing 15 million views, when Joe Rogan got over COVID in the way that he did within basically 24, 36, 48 hours, and he was like, I feel fine. I want to go back out to the gym. And he had done it with monoclonal antibody, with ivermectin, with a Z-Pack. Everything that was considered the alternative treatments, which were basically made to say that they didn't work, so that they could sell you the shots and they could sell you the crazy early treatments and
censor you if you ever brought it up otherwise.
If you ever talked about how these actually do work, and they do work. What they did is they put a filter on him to where he looked like he was unhealthy, like he was not, feeling the way that he said that he was. When you saw the regular image, you went, that looks like Joe Rogan. When you saw the CNN one, it looks like he was ill. They put the orange filter back on Donald Trump. When he had his discussion of tariffs yesterday, saw the video, it made its way all over the internet. You can see the Fox News image and the CNN image, completely. And he's wildly orange.
Yeah, it looks insane. And it got picked up, and that's the beauty of being able to talk about the things unfiltered, no pun intended, on X, on Twitter nowadays, because you can point that out. We talked about this last hour, just how the mainstream media doesn't have the bite that it used to, because people immediately, in real time, can say, hey, do you see what's happening as Donald Trump's talking about the tariffs? CNN is using that crazy filter again. Fox News is not. And I'm sure there were other outlets that weren't, and maybe even other outlets that were. But that's the thing. It traveled so quickly, and it was everywhere. Everybody knows it. That's why that filter will no longer work. It worked for a while.
Yeah, and you want to talk about what CNN is doing. Remember, they have capture in all the large airports, yet their highest ratings in terms of when they get viewed in the evening is 558,000. So I would be willing to venture that their daytime ratings are somewhere in like the 150,000 range, which means you're talking to a very small percentage of the American people, and rather than telling them the truth, you still continue to goose up images because you say, well, what if we drop 50,000 listeners or viewers? Like, we've got to keep on to these 150,000 people. We have to give them what they want, which is Trump looks weird, rather than pivoting and just saying, why don't we just give you actual information?
How about tell the truth? Seems like a good tactic, maybe moving forward. And the reason I say that even CNN might subscribe to the truth moving forward. Their best ratings are when Scott Jennings is on, and he is a truth teller. Maybe they would notice that. I mean, they just signed him to a big contract, so they know he's effective when he's on the air. Now, surely there's not some executive going, well, it's just the MAGA Republicans. They're jumping in here to listen to Scott Jennings and all the BS he has to say. Maybe there is an executive that thinks that. They would be wrong. Scott Jennings may be the saving grace of that entire network. So it proves to me the truth works. They've just rewarded him with a large contract, and yet they do an about face. They take and go the other way when they put the filters back to non-truth. When will they get it? Probably never.
What is strange, Tug, is that a guy like Scott Jennings, it's not like the numbers shift wildly and we go, oh, okay, wow, this guy's worth an extra 100,000 viewers. It's what this is. But what he does, and this is where the game has changed, he creates viral moments by slamming people on that network.
Yeah.
That's what happens, to where you might have, let's say, for instance, in the evening with that show, let's say they do the max number. They do 500,000 viewers.
Not a chance, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
But
More
you're being
likely
very
it's
kind.
not.
Go ahead.
I'm being very considering that Fox News does 3 million.
Yeah.
We're talking about a fraction of that. Let's say they're doing 500,000. By the time the viral moment happens, there's going to be well over 1 million people that will see Scott Jennings tearing somebody up on X.
Yeah.
That's what they're paying for. They're paying for people to go like, okay, I want to see what Scott Jennings did last night, and that's how they're able to push some of their programming.
Yeah, and that's I'll flip over because I know he's going to be on, and I know usually they stack him against people that are going to come after him with falsehoods, with untruths or half-truths at best, and he's going to knock them down. And I find that entertaining, and I think a lot of people do. But on top of that, again, back to the fact that he's telling the truth, and I think the truth matters. So I think there's a lot working in his favor. But you're right in the fact that most people, because you can look at the ratings and know not a lot of people are watching CNN, most of their attention comes from that share, like you're saying, on X. And I do see a lot of that there. I see more of it on X when I'm looking there than I do even the 20 minutes in the evening or whatever time that I spend watching CNN, because you and I always talk about how we dance around from CNN to MSNBC. We always hit the leftist outlets like The Hill and Politico to see what they're talking about, see how they're presenting what's happening in America, specifically with tariffs right now, which they're wildly wrong about. But that's what we do, is we go over there and watch them. So we probably support them more than the average American does.
Probably more than likely, yes. Between MSNBC and our CNN viewing, I find that I'm watching both of those more than I'm ever watching Fox.
Right? And they're probably like, pardon me, they're probably like, man, I don't know what we're doing in Atlanta, but we picked up 2 viewers and they are diehards. I mean, these guys are watching all the time.
These guys are hardcore.
So what we're doing must be right. Let's do more of it. Oh, I don't know if that's the case, but it is funny.
There are these 2 guys. Yeah. They're always watching.
Seriously, because the streaming numbers. I'm a streamer when it comes to cable. I have the DirecTV stream or whatever. It's not an endorsement. This is what I pay for. So they know who's watching, when we're watching. I mean, it's very clear to them. I'm not sure how the ratings works on TV. I know how it works on radio is probably very similar, I'm guessing. I want you to hear from Scott Bessent, because I brought him up last hour. I love the Treasury Secretary. I love the fact that he's not afraid to tackle some of the issues on CNN with Caitlin Collins, because he had to set her straight too about what was happening with the tariffs, what's happening with the economy. And I love that guy because he's not afraid, first of all, to say that the economy was brittle, and those were his words. And I thought those were so descriptive. And they told the truth about what the American economy was and is under Joe Biden. And now Donald Trump is trying to reinvigorate it and remake it. But listen to him laying this out to Caitlin Collins. They need us more than we need them. Basically, he says what Trump always does. We have the cards.
And if countries retaliate, which some have said that they would, some have said they wanted to wait and see, what is the White House's response going to be to those countries?
Well, Caitlin, one of the messages that I'd like to get out tonight is everybody sit back, take a deep breath, don't immediately retaliate. Let's see where this goes, because if you retaliate, that's how we get escalation.
And then it becomes a full-fledged trade war, in your view?
Not a trade war, depends on the country, but remember the history of trade is we are the deficit country. The deficit country has an advantage. They are the surplus countries. The surplus countries traditionally always lose any kind of a trade escalation. So I did, as a student of economic history or a professor of economic history, I advise against it.
Yeah, and he's so right. And Caitlin Collins did not know where to go. She had nothing else to say because he's correct. We have the market they need to succeed and survive. Germany is shaking in their boots. They were absolutely horrified by the tariffs that have been levied. Europe as a whole is furious, and I'm fine with it. China's and the Asian markets are furious. You have South Korea saying, hey, President Trump, remember we're allies. Let's talk. They're smart to get on the early end of this. Mexico is in good shape. They're already negotiating. A lot of the South American countries are negotiating. Brazil specifically. And you're even seeing some of their markets react positively in South America and Mexico as well because of the negotiation that is going on between them and the Trump administration.
One of the things that we can point out here I think it's the most important factor, we're 330 million and we're very wealthy. As a whole, as a society, as entirety of the country. Don't tell me about what's going on in Mississippi or lower Alabama. I'm like, as an entirety, as a country, we are 330 and very wealthy. We're a bunch of consumers. So that is why everyone needs to be here. Everyone needs to sell goods to the United States. And when the United States starts to say, oh, you want to send this over here? Well, here's what we're going to tariff it because of your tax policy. That is where things are starting to change. And this is going to be slowly but surely where every country in the world is going to start adhering to this. This for me started in 2011 when I started complaining about tax policy and what our corporate tax policy was. And then to see Donald Trump, when he got into office the first time around, what is the first thing he did? He lowered the taxes on corporations within this country.
Yeah, absolutely. To the American people and the economy.
Exactly. And so this is just the next evolution of this. This is now all right, I took care of this on this end, and hopefully those tax cuts are extended for another decade, in this year's Congress. But next is let's make sure and now have the rest of the world play by our rules because we should be dictating this.
And we will. I do believe we will. Give this some time. Don't be like the sales guys standing in front of the CNBC and just fretting over the markets. The markets are just reacting. Look, I understand why people get nervous. I get it. Just don't fall for the nonsense. There's going to be big drops. There's going to be big swings. There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be pain points, all of that. But we are going to be better on the other side because of this. I do believe that. And I think most people believe it. Depending on your politics, most people believe it. Polling would back that up. Yes, Jasmine Crockett was a DEI hire. She'll tell you that herself. Next on the Morning Extra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Friday, April 4th. When it comes to the Atlanta Braves, today is the home opener for the team as the team now looks to dig out of a West Coast trip that ended with an 0-7 record. It'll be Spencer Schwellenbach on the mound tonight for Atlanta. He'll be opposed by Max Mayer. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear that game on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. And over the weekend from San Antonio, the Final Four goes down starting tomorrow evening. You'll have Florida and Auburn. That'll be the early action at 6:09. They will be followed by Houston and Duke. They will play at 8:49. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Have you been sniffling and sneezing and scuffling a little bit? It ain't just you, it's everybody. I've been having to clear my throat all morning. Front office Lowe's doing it. Jeray's having to do it a little bit. That's because we're in that season. I mean, you see the pollen everywhere. I took my car and got it washed the other day. My old pickup truck, called the car. My old pickup truck got it washed the other day, and today it looks like I didn't even do it. So I'm going to have to run back through the car wash again. I don't want that in my house. I have to keep that out of my house. You have to keep it out of your house, but how do you do it? I think it's really easy. To be honest, you call Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Chuck and his team have been servicing Atlanta for 77 years. Locally owned, locally operated, one of the few second-generation locally owned and operated HVAC companies in Atlanta. Take advantage of people that live and work in your community, that care about you and your family. You're not just a number at Central Heating and Air Conditioning. You are indeed a member of the family. They use Carrier products. They are your Atlanta Carrier experts. Yes, they can do maintenance. They're coming in less than 3 weeks to my house to get us ready for the summer. They can replace or repair whatever system you have. Doesn't have to be Carrier. It could be any. And they can fix what ails your house and maybe your family's health with Carrier products to make sure that your home is a sanctuary away from all this pollen. How do you get a hold of them? So easy. You call them at 770-GET-HEAT. Or you just go to their website, centralheat.com.
If you're the decision maker at your company, we have great news for you, for your HR department, and for your employees. A new and future-forward way to do health benefits is here from Thatch. Not only do your employees get better health benefits with Thatch, but you save an average of $1,620 per employee per year. That's right. You can save over $1,600 per employee per year. Plus, Thatch reduces the time your HR department spends administering benefits. Businesses all over the country love Thatch's breakthrough approach. Rather than a wasteful one-size-fits-all plan, Thatch empowers your employees by letting them customize their own benefits plans. And you save money and time while providing your employees with better health benefits, which works better for everyone. Book a demo with Thatch and we'll send you a $100 gift card. Visit thatch.ai/radio to book a demo for your gift card. That's THATCH.ai/radio. Thatch.ai/radio.
You need a pre-owned car or truck, but you don't need the headache of searching for one. Spending hours calling dealerships, then spending half the day filling out paperwork.
Come on.
You need the Honest Car Guy.
Hey, this is Tom from the Honest Car Guy. We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly. We guarantee each vehicle we sell will come with a copy of the bill of sale, showing what we paid for it. You pay what we pay, plus a disclosed fee. Guaranteed.
Get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
What's the mystery behind Mystery Valley Golf Course? Is it the fact that it's been voted one of Atlanta's must-play courses? Or is it the fact that it's conveniently located from anywhere in Atlanta? Or maybe it's because Mystery Valley has recently renovated the course, adding all new tipped Bermuda putting greens, upgrading all 66 sand bunkers, and improving the clubhouse and amenities all around. No matter what it is, Mystery Valley Golf Club has been a staple of the Atlanta golf community for many years, and it reopened with the new renovations. Now is the perfect opportunity to make a tee time and enjoy a round of golf at Mystery Valley, located next to Stone Mountain in Lithonia, taking all of the beautiful natural scenery while enjoying a fantastic round of golf. Go to MysteryValleyGolfCourse.com to book tee times. But one question will always remain: how did Mystery Valley get its name?
Stovall & Company is a locally owned and operated family business that has been around for 75 years, offering quality wholesale landscape supplies to North Georgia. We just opened our 11th location in Canton, Georgia at 9500 Union Hill. Stovall provides contractors with personalized expert service, from special requests to direct job site delivery for hassle-free jobs and quality relationships at competitive prices. From plants to irrigation to hardscapes, Stovall truly has it all. Check us out at StovallInc.com.
So, the doc says I have ED. ED. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's just an abbreviation for a condition so many men have. If I was to be honest, I probably also have a little OCD. I know I have a great HMO. Heck, I even have 3 weeks of PTO. Look, don't let a few letters get you down. If you have ED, there's HELP. Go see Dr. Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. He's an ED specialist that will turn your life around PDQ. ED happens to a lot of men as we age. And just FYI, Dr. Deal can give you back the confidence you need to perform on the JOB. So, ready to take the first step? Quit yelling WTF at your little BFF and visit tbtofga.com. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. They can fix your ED ASAP. And before you know it, you'll be screaming OMG.
I'm getting in the game. The world won't be the same. I'm good to go.
Call 404-777-1911 or visit tbtofga.com.
Did you miss Neil Bortz?
I am shocked.
Don't worry. He's live anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Oh, that radio show.
Did traffic cause you to miss some of the Kimmer Show? Get it on the app.
It's all the kids talk about on Monday at school.
With anytime show replays from the Kimmer, Bortz, the Morning Extra, Clay and Buck, and so much more. Plus local headlines and breaking news. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. Glad that you're here and appreciate you listening this morning. 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. Jasmine Crockett is not a dumb woman. She has a good education. She has been successful. But I want you to hear her reduce herself down. I was surprised to hear this. Maybe I shouldn't have been, but I was.
When I first became a public defender, I had no criminal defense experience. And I walked in and I told my boss, Charlie, I said, listen, you should hire me. He said, why? I said, because I'm black. Charlie looked at me like I was crazy.
So you just reduced yourself to your skin color. Like, that's exactly opposite of what I would think about her. Because though I disagree with her, and I think she's a Looney Tune most of the time, I don't think she's a dumb woman by any means or stretch of the imagination. I think she's a very smart lady, but she just set herself up as I'm nothing more than I was hired for my skin color.
No, and I'll say this about her. In a similar way that AOC was somebody who won a contest to, like, let's make a believe play that you're going to be, hey, we're going to run for the House and I'm going to be this person. What happened is Jasmine Crockett won a spot out of Dallas and then recognized that her political future was based on playing a character.
Mm-hmm.
She earned the spot. She earned her place in society, her place in life, her education, and then recognized, I can be Jasmine Crockett, regular Jasmine, and no one pays any attention to me. What if I become Jasmine Crockett, whatever version of her she is?
However you describe that.
Whatever your version of it is, because it's not hood. I know some people are like, oh, hood rat. I'm like, no, that's not what it is.
No,
is it?
It's angry. It's weird.
It's like angry black woman, but it's not that either. It's some version of like ultra leftist weirdo, and then trying to play a character based on what she thinks angry black people are supposed to sound like and want.
Gosh, it's terrible to think that she has all this ability, and she said, nope, I wasn't good enough to get there with all my ability. I got there because of my skin color. See, even if that was the case, I don't think I would have come out and said it. I don't think I would have been like, yeah, that's the only reason they gave me the job.
See, it's not, and we talk about like authenticity.
Well, she lacks a lot of that.
Part of what happened with Marjorie Taylor Greene is that Marjorie came in and was lobbing bombs and has never stopped lobbing bombs. And we're like, that's who she is. She's a bomb thrower, hence why she's my spirit animal. That woman there's never been a change. There's never been I wonder what she's about. Jasmine Crockett spent the first couple of years in relative anonymity and then decided, all right, let me build this character.
Right.
And this is what it'll turn into, whereas, MTG has always been MTG.
Yeah, she's always been a lightning rod. Whether you like her or not, there's never been a difference in who she was then and who she is now. It's always been the same. And, again, you don't have to like it, but you have to respect the fact that she's never changed, whether you like her or not.
Like, I'll give you another example. Thomas Massey.
Yep.
And whenever Donald Trump goes at Thomas Massey, who ends up saying, yeah, listen, I'm not signing on to this continuing resolution. I'm not going to spend this money, is no different than the same guy in 2020 who said, I'm not going to sign on this COVID spending.
Yeah.
It's the same person. Like, if you give me that consistency, you can still be somebody, with a national platform and an important person in Congress.
Courage of your convictions. That's what I like to call it. You have the courage of your convictions, and Thomas Massey did. And in that fight, I had no problem with Thomas Massey standing on the courage of his convictions, standing on his principle, saying, I'm not voting for this. And I was in support. Look, I want to give Donald Trump the opportunity to do what I think he will. Thomas Massey said, I'm fine with him doing most everything. This is not one of them.
Here's my red line.
That's right, and I'm not going to cross it. Good for him. I want more of Thomas Massey. I love that guy, and I have respect for him. And the opposite cannot be said about people like Jasmine Crockett that put, lick their finger, put their finger in the air and figure out which way the wind's blowing, and that's the way they go when they're building this character that they say they are.
Well, we've been playing audio throughout the day where we've been able to go back to Democrat senators and Democrat congressmen, and they said the exact opposite of what they're saying today about tariffs. 2008, here's Bernie Sanders talking about the need for this.
Dude, Nancy Pelosi, we got a laundry list.
Nancy Pelosi did it. Chuck Schumer did it. When you happen to hold on to your convictions, when they're based in the reality of what you believe in, I have never, very simply, I've never been against tariffs. I've just been somebody who's looked at them and said, well, I know we used to do them a lot in the past. We don't do them anymore. And that was my stance on it.
Yeah.
I never looked at them as like, oh, I'm for them or against them, and so I can take some sort of view of them. It was always, yeah, those were done, back in the 1800s, and we don't really do them anymore. Okay, I'm willing to re-examine why we did them in the 1800s.
Right. And that's the thing. You don't even have to be an expert on tariffs. I'm certainly not. But I understand what the goal is, and I understand how using them is going to propel us to getting to that goal and completing that goal. It makes sense to me. And for the Democrats over the years, all the audio we've played to back up exactly what I now believe just tells me that much more that we're headed down the right path. It doesn't seem that difficult to me.
I guess I've just always been, when it comes to, if there's a hard and fast, here's what I believe in, I'm pretty much that free speech absolutionist. I'm okay, don't care if it's dumb, smart, whatever. Everybody has a right to talk.
Whatever you want to say. That's exactly right. Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 Tug and Los until 10. Get that bonus hour when we come back after a Neil Bortz report and a Fox News update. 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. 770-GET-HEAT. CentralHeat.com. A common man, small business owner. He lays out the Trump tariffs so even a baby could understand. And that means you and I, too. Maybe the left, maybe the Democrats will listen to him because he's not a Trump supporter. I'd like to point that out, too.
Time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
The Georgia legislature, our own version of the island of misfit toys. The Democrats, most of them walked out on Wednesday. Did you know that? Why did they walk out? To avoid voting on a bill that would deny taxpayer-paid sex change operations for prisoners in Georgia's prisons. They didn't want their vote on the board. They ran from the chamber and hid. Doesn't matter. The bill is on its way to Governor Kemp's office for his signature. How completely outrageous that any elected member of the Georgia General Assembly would ever stand up there and say, I believe it is more important that we take this money away from the people who earned it, away from the people who needed to support their families, away from the people who needed to pay their bills, and use it to perform a lobotomy on Georgia prisoners and make a woo-hoo out of it. Years ago, and pretty much everything in my life right now is years ago, I actually had the General Assembly considering a bill that would require members to affirm, if they were supporting a spending bill, that they needed that money for that spending bill more than the families who earned it needed it to take care of their children, their education, their groceries, their rent, whatever. You can only guess how far that went. These cowards can't even stand up to you, the Georgia taxpayers, and say, I'm sorry. I know you could have used this money for your own uses, for your own family, but we really need it to do sex change operations on Georgia's prisoners. Governor Kemp will sign this bill for two reasons. One, he's not a Democrat. Two, he's smart. Wait a minute. That's one reason. Smart and not a Democrat go hand in hand. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Join the Braves for an extra special Kids Club Day on April 6th during opening weekend at Truist Park. Fans can celebrate the grand opening of the new Children's Healthcare of Atlanta Park, which offers more than 30,000 square feet of space dedicated to creating a fun experience for kids of all ages. Kids Club members can also look forward to a player Q&A, the Chris Sale Triple Crown Gate Giveaway, and more. Visit Braves.com/Kids Club to see all of the fun and get your tickets to the first Kids Club Day of the season. Stop dreaming, start driving. Get the gift that keeps on giving with the RBM of Atlanta Spring Sales Event, exclusively at RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Each of our certified pre-owned vehicles undergoes an exhaustive process of analysis, inspection, and reconditioning. For a limited time, get special financing from as low as 2.49% APR. In addition, you'll receive unlimited confidence with Mercedes-Benz's unlimited mileage warranty, delivering continued assurance for up to 7 years. Visit us online to see one of the largest and most comprehensive certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz inventories in Georgia with over 130 vehicles in stock. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details and see how to qualify. Not all offers apply to all vehicles, and special financing available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Services through April 30th, 2025. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit us at rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
A surge in hiring. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and the report just out this morning showing a lot more hiring than expected last month, nearly double February's number, which was revised lower.
228,000 jobs added in the month of March. Unemployment rate goes up to 4.2%.
Fox Business Network's Lauren Simonetti, but Wall Street not reacting much to that. Instead, the focus remains on new U.S. tariffs on almost all imports and if they could harm the economy worldwide. Dow futures down 1,000 points before the opening bell this hour after plunging more than 1,600 yesterday, the biggest sell-off since COVID hit in 2020. But President Trump says the market will rebound with a U.S. manufacturing boom. Posting on Truth Social minutes ago, this is a great time to get rich, richer than ever before, and his policies will never change. Saying last night on Air Force One,
you see the plants are starting to construction already. We have many plants.
China, though, is readying a retaliation, a 34% charge on all American products.
Exactly the kind of countermeasure that Treasury Secretary Bessent warned against, saying that that would prompt even more escalation from the U.S., from President Trump. But it's not just U.S. adversaries. It's also allies who are trying to weigh their next moves. You had French President Emmanuel Macron calling for suspension of all planned investments in the U.S. by European companies and vowing a united European response.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. President Trump has fired the director of the National Security Agency, Tim Hawk, as well as others in the National Security Council. The lead Democrat on the Senate Intel Committee, Mark Warner, reacted saying, how does this make Americans any safer? More nasty weather forecast today. Texas to Kentucky after days of storms and tornadoes did damage in several states, killing 5 people in Tennessee, 2 more in Indiana and Missouri. And Fox meteorologist Janice Dean also warns of
the heavy rainfall, the once-in-a-generation potential flooding event for some of the same areas.
The threats from Texas to Pennsylvania. America's listening to Fox.
U.S. Air Force Technical Sergeant Jesse Clark's military service came to an end after a chemical exposure caused a large tumor to form in his brain. As a result, he is paralyzed on the left side of his body, legally blind, prone to memory loss, and in a wheelchair. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation built this hero a new smart home to help him live a more independent life. Help heroes like Jesse Clark. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Search for the Extra 106.3 app wherever you download apps by searching XTRA 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station.
I love baseball. It's my favorite sport.
Baseball.
I've loved it since I was a little bitty kid.
Yeah, baseball.
Been a Braves fan my entire life.
Baseball.
Yeah, that's right. Baseball.
Yeah, baseball.
Yeah, it's so good. Baseball is so much fun, and I want to see the Braves open up and get their first win tonight, which I expect we will. Maybe even get a couple wins this weekend. I'm not saying you have to sweep, but let's beat the Marlins twice. But what brings me to that is I just scrolling through X. You can find me at Tug Cowart, find Los at Front Office Los, and Jure, you're at Whiskey Click. Is that right?
Whiskey Click.
I've got it down. I know. I see this. There's a handle that I follow called Baseball's Greatest Moments, at BB Greatest Moments. And they post this video. It's about, about 25 seconds long. And their description of it is, this is absolute chaos. This is why you should thank the coaches and volunteers of T-ball and it's a T-ball game. These kids appear to be about 4 years old. They hit the ball off of the tee. He slings the bat. The batter slings it back and hits the coach, in the shins with the bat. And then he runs immediately to second base. I mean, like across the pitcher's mound to second base. Yes, to second base. The team that's on defense is wearing red, and they look like an anthill that has been knocked over. They're going every which way. And there's somebody that finally gets the ball. He looks like he appears to kind of know what he's doing because, there's the scrum of all the kids trying to attack the ball at one time that rolls to third base. The first baseman is over there trying to get the ball from the third baseman. Third baseman wrestles it away, chucks it over, hits a kid that should have been in left field in the side of the head. He falls over. Coach from the side of the field runs over and checks on this kid. It is absolute chaos and glorious at the exact same time. God, I love baseball.
So good.
We all started that way, and I'm thinking that kid's probably got a concussion.
That was for my 7-year-old daughter when she was 14 now. When she was 7, she played t-ball.
Okay,
that was every ball.
Every game.
It was a scrum. And she was the fastest kid, so she got to the ball the quickest. And then it would just have like a gaggle of like 6 boys all asking for the baseball.
Yeah, it was, and it was like a pile of kids trying to get to it. And one of them finally comes out with it for whatever reason and however they do it. And the kid that hit the ball that I told you that ran to second, he finally comes on around third and goes on home like nothing happened. Like it's just the way it was supposed to be. He scripted it up.
It's so much better watching. Like the difference right now in me watching 10-year-old sports versus 14-year-old sports.
Oh, it's very different. Yeah.
14-year-old sports are pretty good.
Yeah.
10-year-old, like you're pretty happy when they're able to accomplish some stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I have to kind of qualify it and be like, okay, hopefully we get the ball over the net today.
Yes,
whereas like with 14, it's like, all right, are we smashing them? Like, what are we doing here?
You know what I just realized? Today's National 404 Day.
Yes.
Okay.
Not national. What am I saying? It is 404 Day.
For Atlanta.
For Atlanta. That's Atlanta, not national.
Yeah, we're 404.
Yeah, it's April 404 Day. So there's not a chance the Braves are losing tonight. They can't. It's 404 Day.
Well, I would say this. I think the benefit of what this team is moving forward is that they have 3 stoppers. Now, you don't have Strider right now, and he'll be back hopefully in a month. You do have Chris Sale, who's the, obviously Cy Young and one of the best pitchers in baseball. And Schwellenbach is becoming that guy. Like, he's the one right now where, why am I confident tonight? Because Spencer Schwellenbach is on the mound.
I like that.
That's a dude that's just this bulldog, and I believe when you've dropped like 2 games in a row, or you had a tough night on a Saturday night, now you have a Sunday day game. When Shelley is on the mound, I think like, okay, you're winning this ball game.
See, that's what I like to hear, and I'm looking for positivity right now because prior to today, I was not feeling so positive. I was like, what happens if they come home and get swept by the Marlins? Well, I mean, what happens? What kind of meltdown are we going to see? And there was a moment that I was feeling that way this week, like that could happen. Today I get here, I feel completely differently. I don't know why, but I do. It's game day. Maybe it's just positive encouragement. Maybe it's Los giving me that feedback about Schwellenbach, and I feel good about it. Jeray's rocking his Braves jersey. It could be a combination of things.
You're going to win 93 or 94 ball games. You're going to be in the playoffs. It's just a matter of when you get there, are you healthy? Because remember, even last year, you had the Cy Young Award winner, and you couldn't throw him. And the year before, you had Max Fried, who got sick right before the start of the playoffs and dropped 10 pounds and couldn't throw the baseball with the same accuracy. I mean, it's not just like 6 months is 6 months, but it's a matter of when you get there, are you humming? And this team 4 years ago, when they won the World Series, they had no business winning the World Series, yet they were that team. They were those guys. What did we learn from Jock Peterson? Maybe we are those MFers. That's what it was.
I miss that swagger. I ain't gonna lie, Jeray. Do you miss it too?
Yeah, Jock was just one of those guys that comes in and just makes such a huge difference. But who do we think this weekend is going to be the slump buster? Who do we want to nominate? Whose bat is going to wake up? Who is actually, because you said the other day, I think Ozuna is getting walked more than anybody else.
Yeah,
Nobody's really made good contact on a regular basis so far.
Ozuna just keeps getting walked on a regular basis. I would like to see Michael Harris get the bat going. I think he's such a key part of the lineup.
Me too.
They dropped him from, obviously he was batting sixth, and then he went to lead off, and then they dropped him when they went with the all righty lineup when they had to face Blake Snell. I would like to see Michael Harris get that bat going. And if he gets that bat going, I think you're in a pretty good place. Remember, we're just buying time right now until you're getting back 3 All-Stars in the next month.
Yeah, so it's Acuna, it's Strider,
and you're also looking at your
Sean
catcher.
Murphy. Yes, there he is.
Yeah,
Thank
Sean
you.
Murphy's also coming back. I mean, remember that was a strain that was basically the first 2 weeks of the season. Like, you will be getting an all-star catcher back here very soon.
And we need that. we certainly do. The rookie that's been back there a little bit, man, he's been great, but it's not like a veteran like Sean Murphy would be. Did y'all see MLB stats shared this? And we'll stop talking baseball, but I just love it. And it's baseball season, and the Braves are home.
It's opening day, man. It's a different time.
Day.
It's an opening day.
Yes, absolutely. And if I look out the window to my left, I see Truist Park. How could I not be excited about today?
Like, I'm planning on having to get up there early because it's opening day.
Dude, this place is going to be an animal house.
All the news crews were out there this morning. I was walking in at 4:30 in the morning, and all the news crews were out there
doing
live shots.
Yeah. And I just watched this from MLB stats. Walk-offs are great, right? When you see a team walk it off, there's just nothing better. It's the coolest moment. But this is a walk-off you don't see often, and it was the Royals and Brewers. I'm assuming this is bottom of the ninth, but don't quote me. This walk-off came with a 13.2 mile per hour exit velocity. You heard me right. 13.2 mile per hour exit velocity. One of the Brewers put down the old safety squeeze, scored the guy from third base to walk the game off on a bunt. I love small ball. I don't care what anybody says. Give me a bunt. Give me a safety squeeze. Give me a suicide squeeze, even better. I love small ball. It's my favorite thing. And to see that walk off the other night for the Brewers doing that is fantastic. 13.2% or miles per hour. The distance the ball was hit, 10 feet. The runner got down the line at 29.6 feet per second. Let's go.
Knowing that exit velocity means so much as far as squaring up baseballs and getting hits. Like, if you're averaging an exit velocity of near 100, you're going to have a big year because you're constantly seeing the baseball and you're killing it. When you get a walk-off on 13 miles an hour.
Let's go.
Am
I the only one that loves small ball? Most people don't. Most people hate it, especially people in the big leagues. It's almost like if they have to play small ball, it's an insult to their ability, I guess. But I love it, and I know I'm probably in the minority. Do y'all hate it too? Los, do you hate it?
I consider small, like when you talk about small ball, that to me is the running game. Like it's not a matter of like, let me butt him over because nobody does that.
Right,
it's a matter of, am I stealing bases?
Yes.
Because that is the arbitrage of all things Moneyball and all things statistics is that, well, you don't steal. Yeah. You just keep, you have a chance of losing a base. So you don't do it. Well, I enjoy the fact that people don't steal it. Bunting has gone away by and large.
Yeah, but I think it's making a comeback.
Still small ball to me.
I think it's making a comeback, though. I've seen it so many times in games that I've watched already this season. I forget what I was watching a game Monday or Tuesday night, saw 2 bunts against the Dodgers. And then, who was it? It wasn't against the Dodgers because that was us. I forget what game it was. Doesn't matter. But I saw 2 bunts in the same game. Then I see this walk-off bunt. Maybe it's coming back, man. Maybe it's making a return.
That's the charm of baseball. Because everybody loves a home run. Everybody loves to see, big hits and things like that. But the small ball being possible, getting some stolen bases, just those little moments of excitement, that's the charm of baseball.
I think so, too. All right, 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999. 10% off any job that you do, or 12 months, 0% financing, doors, windows, siding, roofing, gutters. They do anything you need done on the outside of your house. I want you to hear from this man who says he is not a Trump supporter, but he is a small business owner. And he understands Donald Trump's tariffs, the need for it, what he's trying to accomplish. Again, not a Trump supporter, but summarizes it so well I wanted you to hear it.
This lighter costs $25 in America to buy an American-made product, okay? China makes one, sells it for $20 here in America. Out of that $20, $5 goes to whoever in America sells it. $15 of it goes back to China. You buy the $25 one in America, all $25 stays in America. So now we want to say, let's balance this out, and we're going to put a 50% tariff on Chinese goods. Now this lighter costs $30 to sell in the United States. Now you have the U.S.-made one at $25. It is cheaper. It's more expensive in the big picture, I get it. But it's now cheaper, so people are going to buy the American-made one. 100% of the $25 that you spend stays in America, stays here. The demand increases for that business has to hire employees. When many businesses hire employees, that creates a supply shortage of employees, which make wages go up. Is this more expensive for the consumer in the short term? Yes, but you're getting a better product, and the money is staying local. That is the purpose behind all of this.
I mean, he couldn't have put it more succinctly. And that even an infant could understand it. And I think those people that are complaining the loudest, they understand it too, but they're so anti-Trump, they do not care. They want to see him fail, even if it is detrimental to the country, detrimental to the American people. It doesn't matter. Their hatred is stronger than their love for America.
Well, what he highlights, and this is why you saw the UAW workers that got so on board with this tariff plan, because the benefit of when you keep more dollars in America, that just as and again, he did it very simply by just pointing out, here's a lighter. And yes, here's what the cost of it is. And when you make the choice to go between the Chinese lighter or the American lighter, yeah, the American lighter is more expensive. Well, now, because of your tariffs, you've now made the United States lighter far more competitive, and more of the money stays here. That's a very simple way of looking at things.
That's exactly right. He couldn't have put it any better. And everybody gets it. Everybody understands it. It's not complicated, and it's not supposed to be complicated. What I want to see is America being successful again. I want to see the economy not being brittle. I don't want the American economy propped up by government spending and printing more money that creates inflation, that puts Americans behind where they can't afford a home. Jeray and I were talking about this earlier. The fact that he doesn't have a great rate on the home that he bought. That sucks. And it puts people in a position where that their money doesn't go as far. They're spending more than generations previous, because we had bought our house years before. We were still in that below 3% interest rate, and that's a great thing for us. I think we can get back there, and I think these tariffs are the negotiating tool that Donald Trump is using to get us back there, Los.
Well, I think it's going to accelerate so much of this. Rather than old economic policy is stare at the Fed and just say, hey, when are y'all going to lower interest rates?
And twiddle your fingers and your thumbs.
It's like you can create the environment by which this stuff naturally moves.
Which was you brought up earlier.
That's the goal. You can create the scenarios by which you will see things, not artificially, not because the Fed decided, well, we're really concerned about an inflationary environment, we're going to raise interest rates. You can create the environment based on what you are producing and what kind of money you're bringing in to lower rates and to make the cost of living come down for everybody. You really can. It's just a matter of, will you have the fortitude to be able to fight through the fact that you are going to have people that are going to stare at the stock market on a daily basis and imagine, oh my God, this is never going to change. Yes, it will. This is momentary. You just have to ride through it. This is not Janet Yellen telling you that inflationary, this inflation, it's just for the time being. It's going to go away. No, it was the hallmark of your economy under the Biden administration.
Can I give you one example of why I think a lot of this is TDS? We've already played, Bernie Sanders. There's audio out there of Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and you name them. Everybody talking about tariffs being a good tool to use. This is why I think that tariffs are nothing more, or at least the presentation is in the media and with the Democrats is nothing more than Trump derangement syndrome. This is from MSNBC. I want you to hear them and the way that they describe the tariffs. And when you hear them, you let me know if they really think what they're saying, or is it TDS?
Is there any positive take on this?
I don't think there's a single positive take on this. This is all just bad. It's bad, as we talked about before, for inflation. It's bad for economic growth. It's bad for everything. But let me put this a little bit in perspective. We talked about the stock market today and how bad a day it's going to have. This chart predates that, and it goes back really to the election. And I want to just show you, because Trump's got a bunch, as we also talked briefly about before, of other economic and challenges he's facing. And so the stock market, which is this red line, our stock market, we start out here. And he was doing pretty well after the election. There was this burst of Trump euphoria, as we saw in 2016 as well. But since Inauguration Day, it has basically been straight down for our stock market.
And did you hear the way they started?
Yeah.
It is bad. There's no way to spin it. Bad. I sound like Ben Stiller. Bad. You know, that's all it is. I think it's Trump derangement syndrome. They can't look past their hatred of him to see the value that is there. Are there reasons to have some pause? Sure. Are there going to be tough spots that we end up in? Are some things going to be some more expensive? Sure. All of that is true. But are you willing to take the punishment, the pain now, to get yourself in shape for later? That's what it is. And they can't get by their hatred of Trump to even see the forest for the trees.
All right, I'm going to point something out that we've now had out for about the past half hour. And this is going to point out the benefits of what we have going on in this altering economic environment. Your jobs expected for last month to what the forecast was going to be was 140,000 jobs. That's what the belief was going to be. It ended up being 228,000.
Mm-hmm.
That is your latest jobs report for March. So you are basically looking at a number that is almost 100% higher than what the forecast was. And now we'll dig into more of this report as I get a chance to go through a lot of it. But we are seeing manufacturing coming back to this country. We're seeing an enhancement of growth that we have not seen since basically 2017, 2018.
Did you hear that on MSNBC? Nope.
Nope, you never will.
What did you hear? Bad. They're
going to be staring at the stock market and going, look at what's going on. That is the rich people in this country having to go, all right, how do we punish Donald Trump with some of this stuff?
TDS. When we continue on Extra 106.3, why Signalgate died so quickly? Have you noticed you've not heard anything about Signalgate lately? We'll tell you why. Next on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3.
Finally, a president that will fight for American values.
The American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before.
And finally, an Atlanta news station that covers it the right way. Extra 106.3 isn't about traffic and weather. We care about the stories that matter most to you, your family, and your community. Get traffic and weather on your phone and get Atlanta's only conservative conversation right here on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Hey, everybody, it's Front Office Los. Let's talk about my people over at True Prep. Now, okay, here's the cool thing when it comes right down to it when it comes to True Prep. It's about just being ready for any situation that can ever occur. That is what True Prep allows you to do. I always talk about it. I have food storage. That is mine. In part because, all right, I lived through the whole Snowmageddon thing, got stowed into our house for 3 straight days, didn't have power, wanted to have some options. That is what True Prep allows me to have, just in case something crazy happens, because I'm a big believer in, hey, you get some crazy weather, you got to be ready to deal with it. Maybe you have a different belief system. That's fine. True Prep can help you out with whatever challenges you think you might have to deal with. Maybe you want to deal with some personal security in your home. They have a large selection of AR-15s, firearm accessories, and ammo at the lowest prices. Again, freeze-dried food, that's my jam. Water filtration. Hey, maybe you're just into camping. Maybe you like getting out there in the world. They've got all of the best equipment. Need to charge your phone, need to be able to have some of the solar panels to help you out with power out in the field. They can do that as well. They're locally owned and operated. You can visit them on Marietta Parkway, in Marietta on Cobb Parkway, or online at trueprep.com. That's TRUprep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow at True Prep.
This April, the spotlight is on love with a full month of Sylvie jewelry at Solomon Brothers. For 30 days, step into a world of brand new designs and preview exclusive, never-before-seen Sylvie designs in store before the rest of the world, all at 20% off. This is Jaron Solomon, and Sylvie is a jewelry brand built on love. All month long, Solomon Brothers is helping celebrate your love stories with exclusive designs crafted for life's most special moments. While many brands claim romance, Sylvie lives it. Plus, enjoy special discounts and exciting perks only in April, only at Solomon Brothers. No matter the price, you'll find something nice. So don't miss out on our exclusive Sylvie event going on all month long and save up to 20% off all styles. Visit us today in any of our 3 showrooms on Peachtree Road in Buckhead, Old Milton Parkway in Alpharetta, and in Peachtree City, or shop online at SolomonBrothers.com or on Instagram at Solomon Brothers. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, the preferred jeweler of the Atlanta Braves.
You know the old expression, I love it when a plan comes together? Well, with our First Liberty Notes, this has been so true. Hello, I'm Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about our family's company all the time right here on this station. For over 30 years, we've been the local lender who said yes when the big banks say no. A couple of months ago, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Folks from airline pilots to physicians to even pastors are now earning 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of local small businesses. If you're a qualified investor with a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and see if our First Liberty Notes are right for you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty Notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. SEC accredited investor status must be verified. Securities not offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Hi, this is Bruce Hagen.
And this is Matt Hagen.
And at Hagen Law, family matters.
We're not just lawyers. We're a father and son team committed to providing personalized legal representation for our clients.
And it's important to me that we are a family-run business. If you've been in an accident or injured, make us your first call. We treat every case with the care and attention it deserves.
With over 50 years experience of helping people, we are here to guide you every step of the way through your personal injury case.
Hagen Law is a family firm where family matters, and we're going to treat you like your family.
You can find everything you need to know at Hagen-Law.com.
There's a tidal wave of clean car happiness sweeping across Braves country. Tidal Wave Auto Spa is your go-to car wash destination for a game day ready ride. Experience Major League Clean at Tidal Wave, the official car wash of the Atlanta Braves. Stay clean car happy all season long with membership discounts, exclusive giveaways, and more. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com/Braves for details.
My car is happy. I am happy. Tidal Wave Auto Spa.
You've likely heard about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too, with their 3-week quick start for just $19.95. An easy, affordable way to see how it could literally change your life. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally, developed by doctors. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily. It helps reduce or eliminate pain. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. Trying it couldn't be easier with their 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. And it just takes a phone call. 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, every day you feel better is a day you live better. Try Relief Factor's 3-week quick start today. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your headlines for Friday, April 4th. Today is Sine Die, the last day of the Georgia legislative session. Among the more controversial bills, a religious freedom bill for Georgians, a bill banning DEI practices in schools, a school safety bill, and a bill banning taxpayer dollars being used for sex changes for inmates. Georgia Democrats staged a walkout on Wednesday to avoid voting on the transgender bill. Federal investigators have identified the Alpharetta man arrested in the largest fentanyl bust in state history. Antoine Brown was arrested after police found over 240,000 pills in his vehicle, enough to kill 2.5 million people. Investigators say that amount of the drug points to a direct connection with a major Mexican cartel. The Braves opened their first home series this weekend at the Battery, hosting the Marlins. The Braves are still looking for their first win of the season. The Phillies come to town next week. Today's weather, cloudy in the high 60s this morning. Temperatures rise to the mid-80s this afternoon. A cold front arrives on Sunday, bringing rain and lower temperatures. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne.
Tug and Los until 10. Glad that you're here. 404-741-1230. Los, I just ran across this. I thought I'd share it with you because it reminds me of Aunt Peeps a little bit. My wife's sister who raises chickens, and she's got goats. And
she's in your top 5.
Yeah.
That's what you told your wife. You were like, Peeps is in my top 5.
That's not true. No, she did. It's awkward when you say things like that.
In fact, you started referring to her off the air as hot-ass Peeps.
You're not supposed to share that. That was just between us. I feel like I can't tell Los anything anymore. He's an open book. He's just going to tell everybody.
I'm sorry.
I keep a secret.
I wasn't aware I was supposed to keep that quiet.
Well, I thought it would be obvious. I didn't know that needed to be stated. I thought it'd be clear. Turns out not so much. Los, don't tell my wife that her sister's in my top 5. That should be so clear. Anyway, there's a story.
I hope that's a promo.
Yeah. If it's not, it should be.
Don't tell my wife.
There was a man who was arrested after he stole his ex's pet chicken. He allegedly screamed as he was running away, "I've got Polly." I guess Polly was the chicken. The police had to, trap this man, track him down and get Polly the chicken back. Man, that's low down when you'll take. I mean, it's like. Most people would probably be a dog, like if there's a family dispute, maybe a divorce, hopefully not ever, but if that were to happen, I would think the family dog is probably a point of contention. But the family chicken, that's different. That sounds a whole lot different, but it reminds me of Peeps. Like if she were, in a serious relationship and they broke up and somebody was trying to take her chickens, I think she'd go after them.
Yeah, I think she'd get she might even be a little violent. I mean, they're her chickens.
Yeah, that's right, man. You can't steal somebody's chickens.
She probably has names for them at this point.
She does. Every one of them. Yeah, every one of those chickens. All the roosters. We have Kevin the rooster. I know about Kevin. There's so many of them. I can't name them all because she's got at this point 18 or 20.
Well,
I think.
That's how she produces so many eggs.
Well, that's
not
true.
Peeps, but Peeps' farm.
The actual farm, yes. And she's got a little stamp that she puts on her eggs that she sells. And it's like just Peeps' eggs, I believe.
Cool.
Something like that. But I've got Polly. As he's running away, holding the chicken like a football, I just have this great vision in my head of this happening and what that might look like if it were in reality. But it reminded me so much of Aunt Peeps. I thought I'd share it with you. On a Friday, things get a little sideways, and maybe they do.
9 o'clock hour on a Friday. It's what happens.
You just don't know what's going to happen. But let's talk about something that did go away, and rather quickly. Now, we had already told you that it was going away, and it was a nothing burger. And then it was discussed over and over ad nauseum, and everybody, including the people that were talking about it in a negative fashion, knew it was a nothing burger too. But they had to resist Trump somehow or another, and that was Signalgate. That was the message that got sent to Goldberg, the writer for The Atlantic. That went away real quick. We knew it would, Los. We knew it would.
This is how wonderful this time is. So consider this. The previous administration, whatever Joe Biden was doing, Sleepy Joe, Dementia Joe, all those things, consider that whatever his immigration policy, it basically turned about 80% of this country into all about mass deportation. Like, that is a big push to suddenly, how many people are now suddenly on the right? Like, on that end of an issue, okay? Like, that's what happened. Well, in a very similar vein, there was nothing that could be said about Signalgate based on the responsibility of the Biden administration in Afghanistan. It's almost like when anybody has the Jordan argument and you say, hey, Jordan had 6 rings and he never lost in a finals. I don't need another argument. Like, that's all you need. 6-0, he never lost in the finals. That's the only argument I need. I want you to take a listen. This is Scott Jennings, and this is where, once again on CNN, you have somebody trying to, talk about the irresponsibility of having this issue with Signalgate. And Scott Jennings goes to the one area by which no one on the left can argue. Take a listen.
American soldiers at risk with the proper care that it deserves, and no one is facing consequences. That's when people check out and realize that their democracy may not be what they thought it was.
I don't know how Scott's going to respond to this, so I'll let you go ahead and respond, and then I'll respond to your whataboutism.
You held a high-ranking position with Joe Biden, did you not?
Yes, you did. You did with George W. Bush.
Did you recall a single person in your White House or in your Democratic Party asking for the resignation of Lloyd Austin after Afghanistan, after the drone strike vaporized those kids, or after he went AWOL? Yes or no?
Secretary Austin never compromised American lives with
information.
13 American lives
were more than compromised. They were ended.
Yeah, they were dead.
That's the only thing you need. That is the Jordan argument.
That's the showstopper.
He never compromised any lives. No, he ended 13 of them. And then, in order to show some sort of weird form of strength, because I'm surprised how many people don't know about this. They decided, well, because of what happened at Abbey-gate, we think we have a beat on who might be affiliated as a terrorist. And so they vaporized, with a drone strike, a van that had like 7 kids in it.
Yeah, it's the most alarming, disturbing, terrible moments in American history, some of the most embarrassing moments for our country. And then the one that really gets looked over, and I'm glad Scott Jennings brought it up, because this is the one that irritates me to no end. Lloyd Austin and his AWOL moment when he had some sort of surgery, that's not a big deal. If you got surgery, you got to do what you got to do.
They didn't know where he was.
They had no idea.
And they didn't know he was incapacitated, because technically that is what happens when you're put under an anesthetic.
If any soldier, sailor, or Marine did what Lloyd Austin did, the man that they have to report to, they would be put under the jail. You would never hear from them again. They would be dishonorably discharged after their jail time, and that gets looked over. And they act like it is no big deal whatsoever. Man, there's nothing to see here. Everything is just fine. We did everything on the up and up. Look how great we are. And the last thing you are is great. You were an embarrassment to the entire country and the entire military.
Just think about how bad the administration was, the Biden administration. And the benefit is that it was only 4 years. So it's not that hard to remember what they did over 4 years before they got trounced in an election and then tried to offer up Kamala Harris, which was never going to go anywhere because she's a singularly bad politician in this country. With that being said, in that short 4 years of time, they built every argument for us.
Yeah, and handed it over on a silver platter. Here you
go. Okay, you know what I'm not going to do this time around? I hope that I don't have cocaine found in the White House. If I can just have that as a standard, I'm in pretty good shape. I'm probably not going to try and hire men who have sex with each other in the Senate.
Yeah.
Okay? That's my baseline. I'm probably not going to have any guests to the White House that are going to be men with fakers, and they're going to be showing them on the White House lawn. I'm also going to make it a point that if I am involved in some sort of military operation, that I don't get 13 Americans killed out of incompetence.
It's unbelievable. I want you to hear from a liberal that that can lay this thing out, and she's talking specifically about Canadian liberals. The woman you'll hear from is not a liberal, but she's talking about liberals, and she's in referencing Canadian liberals. But this applies across the board, and I think she's so smart in what she says, and it kind of goes along with what you're saying, Los.
So for 5 years now, the liberal Canadians have been trying to convince us normal people that paying a carbon tax means we save money, like individuals save money. And if you're like, how does paying a tax save you money? It doesn't. It literally doesn't. So because we're going into an election, Mark Carney decided to take that carbon tax away just for us consumers. And already the prices at the pumps have decreased by 20 to 40 cents a liter across the country. And now they're bragging online that they're saving Canadians money. This is so painful. Honest to God, honestly, this cannot be a real country and these cannot be real people. Let me just show you this. Our policies are already hard at work. Gas prices are already coming down and we're putting more money back in Canadians' pockets. What? These people who put the carbon tax in place and have been increasing it every year for 5 years are now realizing that if you don't pay a tax, you save money. And liberal Canadians online are like, yay!
So good. Like, we're going to tax you to no end, and then we're going to remove the tax and celebrate because things are cheaper. How about not put the tax on to begin with? How about let's start there? Let's stop overtaxing people. And in the United States of America, the left loves to tax you to no end. And then we'll give you some sort of tax break and act like they've done something. It's just so absurd.
They just did you a favor.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not sure that there's quite the favor there. But I love the fact.
I really think so.
She's so funny when she's delivering it. Like, as she's talking about liberals and how they think and the way they act, she can barely contain her laughter. And she can barely contain just the disdain that she clearly has for libs and what they do and their damn taxes.
I just like that she gets it and she mocks it.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yes, she is. Buddy, I tell you, it is a great day in Atlanta. We got the Braves home opener this afternoon. You can listen to that on our sister station, The Fan, 680 at 93.7 FM. Do not miss any of that. As a matter of fact, front office Los will be over there this afternoon, walking right up to that coverage, right?
Absolutely. Be taking you right over to Braves. In fact, I have to do Braves game day. I haven't done Braves game day in like a year.
Oh, wow. All right.
I know, but I will. Let me make one thing very clear.
Yes.
If you do Braves game day, you also don't get a ring.
Oh. Like if they were to win the World Series?
Yes.
How do you know that?
How do you think I know that?
Oh, yes. I gotcha.
Let's say if you do it like 20, 25 times over a season.
Got it. But I wish I hadn't stepped in that hole.
But if I'm Jeff in sales and I happen to sell like window tint to somebody, you get a ring.
Yeah, I think I follow.
You see what we're working with here?
Yes, I do. You should see the chaos around here. People looking at the stock market, they're still so worried about the stock market.
Go tell them the jobs report is monstrous and that the treasury yields are way down.
They're not going to listen to me. They're not. It wouldn't matter what I say.
I'll get in there and I'll set them straight. I mean, I'm the only one walking around there with a master's degree in business anyway.
He may be the guy you should listen to on this. I don't know. You answer your own question. I'll let you decide. We'll come back this and wrap up the morning extra. I don't see Bella, so we'll figure out something.
I understand that you studied English.
I bet you understand the way the economy works. We'll be right back.
I got salty quick out of nowhere.
Morning Extra with good reason. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Friday, April 4th. When it comes to the Atlanta Braves, today is the home opener for the team, as the team now looks to dig out of a West Coast trip that ended with an 0-7 record. It'll be Spencer Schwellenbach on the mound tonight for Atlanta. He'll be opposed by Max Mayer. First pitch is set for 7:15. You can hear that game on our sister station's brand new app, 680 The Fan. And over the weekend from San Antonio, the Final Four goes down starting tomorrow evening. You'll have Florida and Auburn. That'll be the early action at 6:09. They will be followed by Houston and Duke. They will play at 8:49. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Join A Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Madelon and host Tug Coward for the weekly radio show Back Your Blue. They will highlight special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. This week's guests are Major Chiquita Maldonado and Lieutenant Nicole Culberson of the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office Mental Health Task Force. Tune in on Saturdays or catch up on all past episodes wherever you get your podcasts or at thepodcastpark.com.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404 or bail out. Or online at atlbail.com.
Are you tired of dealing with loud, ugly, drafty garage doors? Do you have certain rooms in the house that you can't keep cool in the summer or warm in the winter? Hi, I'm Dan Watkins with All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Now is a great time to upgrade with brand new, efficient, quiet, and beautiful garage doors. Your garage door is the biggest opening in your home, which is why it's such an important part of your home's curb appeal and energy efficiency. Give us a call today at 770-517-7078. Get started today by visiting us at allfourseasonsgarages.com.
Car guy.
Hey, what's with all this honesty stuff?
We help you buy your next pre-owned car or truck honestly.
How honestly?
We guarantee that each vehicle we sell will come with a bill of sale showing what we paid for the vehicle. You'll pay what we pay, plus our disclosed fee guaranteed.
No gimmicks or tricks?
Nope.
Man, this sounds like a new way to buy a car.
Get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1 or visit honestcarguy.com.
Georgia Tech baseball is battling through the heart of the ACC schedule right in the heart of Midtown Atlanta. Don't miss your chance to cheer on the Jackets as they take on key conference rivals.
Goose tattoos this one into left field. Outfielders won't even move as this one clears the scoreboard and left. An absolute goose bomb over the left field wall.
Purchase your seats today at ramblinwreck.com/tickets. Sting 'em.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-383-7733. That's 800-383-7733.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
This April, the spotlight is on love with a full month of Sylvie jewelry at Solomon Brothers. For 30 days, step into a world of brand new designs and preview exclusive, never-before-seen Sylvie designs in store before the rest of the world, all at 20% off. This is Jaron Solomon, and Sylvie is a jewelry brand built on love. All month long, Solomon Brothers is helping celebrate your love stories with exclusive designs crafted for life's most special moments. While many brands claim romance, Sylvie lives it. Plus, enjoy special discounts and exciting perks only in April, only at Solomon Brothers. No matter the price, you'll find something nice. So don't miss out on our exclusive Sylvie event going on all month long and save up to 20% off all styles. Visit us today in any of our 3 showrooms on Peachtree Road in Buckhead, Old Milton Parkway in Alpharetta, and in Peachtree City, or shop online at SolomonBrothers.com or on Instagram at Solomon Brothers. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, the preferred jeweler of the Atlanta Braves.
Extra 106.3 is the only station in Atlanta to bring you the legend Neil Bortz, a live and local news talk show on your ride in, and the Kimmer Show every afternoon. Be here at 3 for the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
I know Front Office Lowe's likes Ryan Reynolds. I know he liked the TV show Welcome to Wrexham. Maybe you did too. I didn't see it at the time. Was that Netflix, Lowe's, or is it Hulu?
No, it's through Hulu.
Hulu. See, I don't have Hulu. That's why I was never able to watch that one. But
you missed out on one of the best TV shows that's out there.
Maybe one day they'll make it available and I can see it somewhere else and get to watch it.
Maybe you can just ask me for a login.
Well, Lowe's, yeah, if you could just send me that on over, that'd be great. And that way we could get that going right away.
But then after Roadhouse, then you have to start Wrexham.
Okay, all right. Let me write that down. Roadhouse and to Wrexham. That actually, that's a nice analogy. I think that'll work. The reason I bring up Ryan Reynolds is he though he's a big superstar, movie star, and all that sort, he dabbles in the world of like regular people a little bit. I mean, Welcome to Wrexham, it was a team that had been relegated, right? They'd been kicked out of the big league and had to...
They were at the lowest league.
The lowest league. Isn't his phone company, I don't know if he still owns it or if he sold it, but isn't his phone company, isn't it like an affordable phone company?
Mint Mobile?
Yeah. That was the whole point of it. So he dabbles with regular people, and I think that's why regular people like him. He's done it again. He's got a new wine line that he's come out with called Ugly Estates.
Okay. I mean, he's already into gin.
Yeah. See, I didn't even know about that. Okay.
Yeah, aviation is one of his products.
Listen to this, though. This comes in an oversized juice box, and it is 33% more wine than a typical bottle. and their tagline is 100% less snob. Dude, this is a man after my own heart, dude. There's a reason that he does.
Give
all
me the
this
name again.
It is called Ugly Estates. Ugly Estates wine. And it's like a big, tall kids juice box. There's no straw, but it's a twist-off cap from what I can see. But I'm telling you, man, this guy dabbles. There's a reason he does this. He's found success with regular people. I do believe that he sees that as a value to him. How do I service a group of people that gets oftentimes looked over? I don't know about you, but I love wine, but I rarely order it at a restaurant because I always feel like a jerk. I don't know. It just seems weird to me, and I should get over it. If my wife orders a glass, I'll have one, but I'm not going to be the dude. I'll give you an example. When I was in Charleston 2 weeks ago, I was down there by myself, had a work function that I needed to attend to. And so that evening, the first evening I was there, went and just grabbed a pizza at a pizzeria right around the corner. A couple people told me it's great. I got there. They didn't have cocktails. They only had beer and wine. I love wine. Don't like beer. And yet, I didn't order anything because I didn't want to be the dude drinking wine by himself. I didn't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that jerk. And if it had been Ugly Estates, I think I'd have felt better about it.
It would have been a talking point.
That's right.
By the way, I don't know if you know this or if it makes any sense to you. Do you know Ryan Reynolds' parent company name?
I don't.
It's Maximum Effort.
Is it? Okay.
So if you've ever seen Deadpool, whenever he goes Maximum Effort,
okay, I've heard you talk about it. I wouldn't see it because I've not seen those movies.
So apparently, this is the next thing from Maximum Effort, which is a new booze brand.
Yeah, I love it, dude. Ugly Estates, and even the name, it's so self-deprecating. It makes
it's upside down.
Yeah, and that's right. That's because you're going to turn that thing up and drink it.
Well, I've got to see if I can find this somewhere, anywhere, just so, since we're basically moving this weekend, it'll be hilarious when I bring Ugly Estates wine to my wife, and she just looks at me like,
"What the
really?
hell is this?
What is this? Is this how little you appreciate me?"
$11.99 at Target is where I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
That's the only place I'm seeing you can get it.
That'll give you a headache.
Yeah, no kidding. $11.99, probably so. I don't know, man. Do you think? And maybe it will. I don't know. But everything else he's done has been so good. I hear Mint Mobile's great. You said the TV show Welcome to Wrexham, one of the greatest TV shows that I need to see that I haven't, and you said it was really, really good. It's
outstanding television.
So there's not a bit of me that believes that this is lousy wine just because it's inexpensive. I could be wrong. I could be.
That's always a concern. It's always a concern when you jump into the $11 wine.
No doubt.
I'm willing to try it and find out.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeray's gonna roll the dice this weekend.
If
the bare minimum at my house is you got to get to 18 to 20. That's where I know that I will not be watching my wife the next day going, "Oh my God, I feel awful."
We're 12 to 15. In our house. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
well,
and that's $11.99. That's actually in our ballpark.
Okay.
And there's some good affordable. I don't know any of them. My wife knows them all, but I know them when I taste them. I know them when she pours them. But I don't want to say that we're only that. We don't always hover at 12, but we're rarely into the 20 and above. Rarely ever, just because, gosh, who can afford that? Anyway, thought I'd bring that up just because you like Ryan Reynolds so much. And Southern Bella bailed on us. We were supposed to have our Southern Bella segment here.
What is she? That's 2 weeks in a row. What is going on with her? Or no. Okay, so she made it last week. The previous week was when she decided to be out of the golf tournament.
Yeah. She just and decided not to tell us about that. And then now, Burnham.
It makes it really hard to have a dedicated time slot.
Yeah.
When Bella doesn't show.
I got to tell you, man, this may be.
Does she have a disease? Is there something wrong?
Not that I know of.
Maybe it's a dental visit we didn't know about.
I don't want to pile on to the Gen Z, but come on, isn't this typical? Isn't this what you expect?
Yeah, maybe so a little bit.
Be a little punchy on the way out today.
That's right. Jeray needs a nap. But close it out here. Braves are 0 for 7, only scored 14 runs, 33 hits, 151 batting average, shut out twice, scored 1 run in a game twice, and the bullpen blew 3 games. we've got to
fix this.
Got to correct this weekend.
Yeah, you come home to get things right.
Yes, exactly right. And I expect that's what's going to happen. I look forward to getting out to the ballpark. I think it's going to be great to see the ballpark.
Are you going tonight? Like going?
Yep, we're going to go.
All right, now let me ask this one question because this is important.
Yeah.
All right. Like I want you to be honest with Jure and I.
Okay.
Are you sitting with the common folk?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I am. We just have some regular old tickets.
Okay.
Yeah, just going to be sitting out there.
Because normally you're always like Sweet Tug.
Oh no,
I'm not. That's not SWEET Tug.
Yeah, the Sweet Life with Zach and Cody. No,
it's like the only one who's like I only go to the Sweet.
That's not true. No. Now my wife gets invited there a lot. She with regularity gets invited there, but I just get to tag along. That's the way that plays out.
I just wanted to make sure. I just know that you're living that lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Everyone thinks of you as common folk, Dalton, Georgia, regular Navy man, and they don't realize that the Tug estate is real.
That's not. Yeah, no. There's things being made.
There's a level of expectations for Tug to be part of your event.
There's inaccuracies being hurled at me right now.
There's a level of comfort that he expects.
9:54 in the morning. Flo's just freaking blowing me up over here. All that is a falsehood.
Are you serving at least $15 wine?
Yeah, because I'll show up.
We ain't coming unless.
Because look, I can get $12 wine at home. You better have at least 15, or damn it, I am not coming to hang out with you.
Only drink my water out of a can.
That's exactly right.
I only drink my water out of a can. I only drink $15 plus wine.
That's exactly right. And I just finished my Freebird Southern Spring Water, which I encourage you to search for. It is proudly sourced from the heart of Georgia's Blue Ridge Mountain Blue. Freebird ain't just another junk water. It is Georgia water, and that's the reason you should go find you some Freebird. But yeah, I only drink it out of the can because that's what they have here. Otherwise I'd drink it up about anything,
and it's good.
It is so good. All right, that'll do it for us. It's been another stellar week.
Michael Harris, do it tonight.
Michael Harris, get it going.
Come on. And I will take. I'm going to go with Ozzy. I like your Ozzy prediction there. Didn't you say that earlier? Or
Ozzy's my favorite player on the team right now.
Okay.
I'd like to see Matt Olson do something.
Yes, but we need Matt Olson to do something for sure. We need a whole damn team to do something. That's what we need. Anyway, that'll do it for us. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for loving America the way we do and loving the state of Georgia the way we do. For Los and Jure, my name is Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Who's going to run your kids? Is it going to be the government or is it going to be you? Right. And the Democrats want the government and the conservatives want the parents to do it.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Xtra 106.3 and the Xtra app.